1:30 a.m. for
Well, I just put our streaming live, and voila. Now
I
we're.
think we are live here too. With no one there
No,
yet.
If anybody says or asks anything in my channel's chat, and it's relevant, I will bring it up. Obviously, I'm pretty sure
Obviously.
same here. So I'm not as fancy
I
with
have
Twitter.
mine on, but there's nothing.
Yeah, see, last time we had to use one screen for both screens, but now we have found that we can use separate. So I actually have the chat up on the computer as well. Maybe help me pay attention better than last time where I was staring at my phone to check the chat.
Oh no.
Yeah, that's what I used to do. I used to stream, and like I'd have to have my phone set up so I could monitor the chat while I was streaming. But now I've got
Chat.
a better setup. Yeah, that's what I used.
Also,
Oh, yeah.
for everyone who is in my chat, I will also look at yours, but I will be focusing more on talking with people.
Getting
right here.
2 monitors is so nice.
Exactly.
It just
We use our TV bigger monitor.
makes your life
Yeah.
easier.
Like I've
also-
had an internship where I was working with 2 monitors, and then I went home and I only had 1, and it was hell.
No, this.
Yeah.
My wife has 2 monitors because she does computer graphic stuff for her. But I do not. I have the 1. She has the super gaming PC
I want to use mine, but
for
thank you.
school and stuff.
Yeah. I mean, I have the quote good computer, even though my computer is 6 years old. It's still better than what my parents use.
Yeah,
And of
we are
course-
surviving. I just got my first message, and we are surviving. Yes.
Well, surviving's a relative term. One of us could be dead and be brought back, so we wouldn't technically be surviving.
Okay.
Yeah,
I actually
people
when
in
I,
my
Talking all.
hello
Yeah, go
people
ahead.
in my
yeah
chat.
when I
So
messaged David, I actually said I'm alive and awake too, I guess. So it works.
She did.
So we're here to discuss the most recent volume of RWBY. Yay! For people who are watching other people's channels, should we go around and do some introductions?
Definitely.
Tell people how they
I'm-
can find us.
Stream as I'm doing this. Terribly.
We should
Who
go
wants to go
first.
first?
Do you want to start, Everly? Since-
Sure. I'm Everly. I'm one half of Geek House, the less interesting half, but my wife Avalon is not here right now.
You're both interesting.
That's the main
No,
thing to
I
say
just-
about myself.
Allow me my self-deprecating humor. I survive off it. I have a channel called Geek House. We've been around for, I'd say, 3 or 4 years now. We've been at it for a bit. We're doing okay. We do well enough to, survive off it, and we've got a really amazing fan base, which is accessible in our Discord. You should check out. And yeah, we watch things like RWBY. We have a bunch of new shows coming, so we're going to be currently our roster is going to look like RWBY, Owl House, Fairy Tale, Falcon and the Winter Soldier, finishing up WandaVision, and some other stuff. And we're going to start doing some movies like Kong vs. Godzilla is going to hit the channel soon. Huge RWBY fans. Huge RWBY fans. So I'm very excited to talk about it. But yeah, that's who I am.
We're Story Fandom. One of our members is currently
in the bathroom.
yeah. He'll be back.
Wow, just put it up. And also, a dog is in the kitchen right now. A dog is in
My name is David. I am the dad and the person who started the channel and bullied everyone else into doing it with me. You are
Clara.
our daughter, who's a huge RWBY fan. If you want to hear someone get very upset when Weiss fell off the thing,
Oh,
yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
Weiss is my favorite character. Trust me.
Oh, yeah.
get it.
I watched that video and it hurt my ears, but it was worth it.
I'm sorry, I tried to mute it as much as possible. All right. Next, my love.
Oh, Brandy. What? That's, I'm
Like I said, I bullied him into this. Brandy, my love. And finally, at the end,
You're supposed to say your name.
Julius, I guess the son.
yep.
Yeah, he's
The son.
Yeah.
my blood dove.
Mhm.
And there's Max.
And there's Max. And then all 5 are Story Fandom.
Yep.
Okay.
Are we also have coloring books because some people may have trouble paying attention?
That's
And now the
fine.
people.
Sure, attention spans for all.
Yeah.
You back.
I'm Allie from Hell's Mirror, and I've been doing the channel stuff since 2018, and I guess it's going well, a little bit stagnant, but that's fine. Doing She-Ra at the moment, and Red vs. Blue now that...
She-Ra shirt.
Yay! Now that RWBY's
She-Ra.
done. And also, I finished Neon Genesis Evangelion, and now Code Geass is coming out. Yep. Yeah. And I put up a few things for you guys. A little whale that a friend of mine made. And Emerald because, I don't know, I loved her this volume so much.
And I'm next. Okay. Hello, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to everyone who's watching right now over the globe.
Good night.
My name is Rain. Hello. My name is Rain. I am a Twitch streamer. I usually just play games. Basic gist of my stream is me being tortured by my viewers with sound alerts. So I turned off sound alerts right now just to make sure I'm not tortured. So yeah. I'm a big fan of RWBY. I'm really jealous with all of you folks because you can actually buy merch because I can't. I'm so far away and the shipping is so expensive right now, to be honest. So yeah. But I have been watching RWBY since its inception. I haven't done any reactions because I have watched it so many times, especially with all of your reactions as well.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah. So maybe in the future, but not right now. I'm gonna stick with being tortured first on Twitch. But yeah.
Alright, I guess at least me. Hello. I am Scar, also known as Stony Bridge. I am just your run-of-the-mill nerd who just enjoys way too many fandoms for his own good.
Aren't we all?
I
Hey, man.
used to do YouTube, but then something happened and all my videos got wiped, so I kind of got demoralized. So I was just like, yeah, that's 3 years work gone, and then my OBS stopped working, so I'm kind of like taking a break from it for now.
Understandable.
So yeah, I may go back to it. I may not. I don't know. I have been watching RWBY since halfway through Volume 3, I think, and have been borderline obsessed with it since.
I can't imagine having been part of the fandom when Volume 3's end happened.
Oh,
I don't know.
Imagine.
I mean,
and here's the thing, like,
I binged volumes 1 through 5 when I got into the fandom,
I
so...
binged 1 through, I think 1 through 4 were out or something like that. When I was,
Yeah.
started reacting.
I remember when I came in, the 6th episode of 3 had just come out on YouTube. So that was directly in the middle of 3. And then, a couple weeks after that, I was there refreshing the page, waiting for the final to
Basically
be free.
Basically the turning point, middle of volume 3.
Oh yeah, and then of course, after watching it and letting it settle, I'm like, alright, time to go watch people cry. Like an hour later.
That's what we
What's
do.
really funny is I was a huge fan of Red vs. Blue.
Okay.
Actually, it got me through some really rough parts when I was a kid. So I started watching RWBY with Volume 1, watched it through Volume 2, and then I stopped. I stopped doing Root 2 stuff for a while until I found it again in the hiatus between 5 and 6.
Mm-hmm.
So I started with the fandom, missed the whole thing around Volume 3, and then came back later. And then I guilted them to watching it right before Volume 6 by saying, "Hey guys, for Father's Day, can you please watch the RWBY trailers for me?"
That's
Yeah,
what you do it.
She refused to watch. She said, "Yeah." She was like, "Well, I don't know the show. I don't want to feel like I have to like it just because you like it. I don't want to feel obligated, so I'm not going to watch it just to avoid that." I'm like, "Come on, it's Father's Day, please."
I had an interesting story with RWBY too. Like, I watched the first trailer back when, because a friend showed it to me, and then I just forgot about it. And then when Volume 5 was already out, I was like, oh, I know that. Where do I know this from?
real quick, Alex from Puerto Rico says hi. So hi, Alex from Puerto Rico. But then the way it was with us was I didn't like. I'm not even going to get into whether Ruby's anime or not. That's a different subject. But on the topic, I wasn't into anime because I had a lot of friends who were like really into anime, and it really killed it for me at like an early age. And then I was just. It started off real simple. I was like, I need new content on the channel. People seem to really like this RWBY show. So Av and I reacted to the first episode together, and I think it was just a bad day or something was going on because we hated it. And we didn't put the video out because we refused to put out videos that are super negative about it. So it just got shelved for like a year or two. And then finally I was like, I need stuff. So I sat down and rewatched it and ended up liking it a lot, and then binged it and convinced her to come watch it with me. And it turned into being it is currently my second favorite show like ever. For me, it's Star vs. the Forces of Evil and then RWBY. So
I put Avatar The Last Airbender up there more.
Oh, and then it's
RWBY,
She-Ra and the Princesses of Power right under that.
For me, after I've watched everything for RWBY by myself, of course I'm super emotional, so I cried a lot. You don't want to see my ugly mug when I cry.
That's literally what reaction channels are about.
Yeah, I mean,
exactly. So everyone's been saying that the RWBY fandom are a bunch of sadists because they want to watch people who cry a lot.
100%. I am very guilty of this.
I am on the reverse. I want to say I am as well, because every time I watch a reaction, I tend to cry along with them, so I'm a masochist.
Yeah, but
because I'm hurting myself instead of enjoying other suffrage. No, I'm actually suffering.
I used to cry easily even before I started estrogen, so now I'm just.
Ooh.
Oh no!
Just the constant waterfall.
But no, our biggest videos ever on our channel are trailers where we cried because we were so excited about the content.
I mean the crying stuff goes well.
Yeah, and my wife cried over the Breath of the Wild trailer, and then those are our two biggest videos.
People love tears.
I'm getting about the being part of the fandom for Volume 3. I'm getting it was horrible. It was something else. RWBY was my therapy show, and then Volume 3 happened.
Yeah, it was not a good time for several months. Because it was just everything's just sad and down, and then Volume 4 happened, it's oh look, happiness. And then Volume 4 ended, and it's just ugh.
And then Eye on the Hill says that we need Chibi back.
Yes. I want
Especially
Chibi.
now.
No, Chibi Salem. Chibi Salem. That's all I'm saying. Chibi
I
Salem.
want that.
Alright, so should we get into talking about the volume? Where should we start?
Usually the way we start it is, what did we like?
Okay.
Go around, no chance to
That's going to be a lot longer part for me than what I didn't like, but that's just kind of how my brain works.
Yeah.
I guess I can start, or someone else can.
Go on.
Okay. I loved the volume, but I'm notorious on my channel for liking pretty much everything. What I don't like, I really don't like. Like the Snyderverse and some other stuff. But but 99% of things I love, and also it seems like I like stuff because I just don't put out videos about things I don't like. There's enough of that out there. I can't hear anyone but me. Oh, that's good to know.
Travis? Not great. I hope on my end everything's working.
Let me set up. I think I need to set up a
TV Oscar.
Let me see if that's what it is. Let me try to get this working real quick.
They weren't hearing me.
How about
Can
you hear it now? Girl Without a Fairy?
That name, Girl Without a Fairy.
Well, let's make sure he gets the sound working, and then you can say it, okay?
I'm always constantly surprised by the names people come up with.
Yeah.
Let me know if you can hear it now. But I like stuff more often than I don't. And I don't have an issue with people who don't like things as long as they're not jerks about it and vice versa. That's all I care about.
Yeah.
And I loved Volume 8. It made Avalon very angry. but she still liked it.
I mean,
She
yeah.
was mad. Like, I'm not even joking, like, an hour of rage crying after this. But,
I think I know why.
okay, they still can't hear you guys. I have no idea what to do.
Uh-oh.
So I've
On
got,
my end,
I'm using
everything's
OBS.
good.
Real quick, let's
so-
figure this out. I've got the mic/aux, which is how they're hearing me.
Yeah.
What should I do to make sure they can hear you guys?
You need to
Uh,
get what you get in your headphones. You need to kind of enable that too in the program.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you have one video thing and two audio things going on.
Yeah, like an audio you hear in your headphones.
I think I've got it working now.
Yes.
Okay.
guess.
I see
I don't
a
know,
new
you
bar
can
that
hear?
says like. "Boop, boop, boop, boop."
Geek House, Fandom, are you there?
But yeah, okay. So what I liked. So I think the pacing for Volume 8 was some of the best pacing they've had in a really long time.
Yeah, because
Even when things were like low key, they were always engaging. But I think my favorite part of the entire volume, other than the amazing action scenes, was I think it had the best character development of any of the volumes so far. Not just of the good guys, but of the villains, or the villains turning into good guys.
Yeah.
And it was just chef's kiss. Mwah. And the voice acting, like, just hearing how much, like, watch the early volumes and listen to Jessica Negri as Cinder then, and then listen to her as Cinder now. Like, when it started, she was a model, never voice acted, 100% get it. But she killed it this volume in some really emotional scenes.
I agree.
She started killing it last volume, in my opinion. Was when she really started.
Yeah.
I really noticed her in that fight between when she was trying to get the Maiden's powers
yeah.
against Winter and them.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That was when I was like, "Holy, she can act!"
like when she screamed mine and then Winter
Yeah.
chopped her arm off.
right there.
And that
was when I was like,
screaming,
"Okay."
that scream she let out, I was just like, damn, girl.
Yeah, that's when I was like, okay then, and then killed this entire volume. My favorite family, the Schnees, had amazing development because I am a Weiss simp from day one, and I always will be. But that's what I liked, and we'll just go back and forth now. But that's what I liked. I liked the character development and the pacing.
Okay.
Okay,
Alright.
I would like to go next. I have always been a fan of villains, because villains are always way cooler. Period. End of sentence. They always get the cool toys, the armies, the
The evil one
resources.
right
They
here.
get everything except the W, and that's the one thing they can never really get. And it was kind of nice to get villains that actually care and like.
Mhm.
Actually kind of win for once. Well, not for once. I win again, but on much a grander scale. Because destroying like a school, pretty major. Destroying two entire kingdoms for the price of one. That's like a whole. That's like triple S tier type of victory right there. And watching Cinder get yelled at by Watts on that building, and the way she like wanted to kill him but didn't because that's exactly what he wanted. And then she was like thinking about that whole time. And the second she had her opportunity to get revenge on him, she took it. But right before the last word she said to him was, "You deserve this." And I'm like, "Oh, you are such a good character. I hate you, but I also kind of love you." It's weird. God. And then of course there's Salem just standing there being all like evil and and she's just standing there like, yep. And they just left Ironwood there. They just completely ignored him. They just completely ignored that he was just laying on the ground there.
He was inconsequential in the end.
Yeah, because, oh god, Ironwood. Oh my god, Ironwood over this volume, holy crap. He peaked top 5 characters, without a doubt. I hope he's not dead.
I think he is.
We all hope he's dead.
Yeah,
I really don't.
I don't think there's going to be
actually-
room for him in Vacuum.
I have a theory about that, but we'll wait until we get to
Yeah,
like, the
we
theory
can
point.
get to that later.
Yeah, definitely.
this one here in particular, where every time I was on screen, she just like rage screamed. Right?
The hate is real.
Please leave me to try.
Yeah.
So, Clara, what was your favorite part?
I like Wise, and I like everything what Wise did,
You liked everything Wife did?
and also I
Good
like when.
Weiss's best girl.
Yang is best girl.
Hold on. I love Weiss. She's awesome. But let's not go stealing Nora's title, please.
I mean, I feel like everybody likes Nora. Let's be real.
The thing is, I've got a lot of favorites I can't choose, so I'm just nodding
no,
along
I
to
know.
everything. I'm like,
I just say
Weiss is
Weiss
great.
is my favorite
Yeah,
because I
it's
felt
great.
like I had
Nora's
to claim someone.
Someone from my stream said, "Why is this best girl?" And anyone who says anything else is wrong. So, Avery.
I mean, I'm not saying no to this. Just everyone's best girl, kind of.
She's gonna kill me if I say anything else. So
Everyone's best girl, including John.
Especially Sean, thank you very much.
Yes.
Exactly.
I like to say a lot that Neo's my favorite, but only because it really upsets my wife. So
Why?
Neo is great.
She's not a villain fan. Let's put it that way.
But Neo is great.
Villains are the best.
I love Neo.
yeah, Neo is great.
Her favorite, since she's not here to say it, her favorite is without a doubt Yang, which was why she had such an emotional reaction
Yes.
to this volume.
Yang is
Like,
best.
After
12?
Yang's episode,
Oh, no,
Oh,
Captain
sorry.
I
Thirty.
remember like she was just curled up, and I'm like, "What's wrong?" And she just goes, "Yang." And I'm like, I think she's gonna be okay. And she literally got so upset that she was hurting the next day because she like old crying muscles.
Oh gosh.
Like it was really impressive and terrifying.
I
I mean,
just
I
got a
wasn't worried
message.
because I already had all the stuff in my head, like, yeah, this is going to go this way, this is going to go this way, so I was fine.
Well, apparently someone in our chat says we're all wrong that Jean is the best girl.
Jean's great. I just remember, I feel bad. That's a whole other topic, but I feel bad for Miles Luna after the most recent
Yeah.
video he did and people going after him. But people are just mean. But Jean's great. Jean has had some amazing development. Talking about
Yeah.
development.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
I think alongside Bren as well. Because
Oh, yeah, like-
Bren did.
I
Ren
feel
did
like okay,
volume.
I'm gonna be honest. I feel
Yeah.
like out of all of Team Ruby and Team Juniper, Ren was like the least character out of all of them, which sounds like a dick thing to say, but if
No,
I like just
it's
like
true.
it was accurate.
Oh, yeah.
But then Volume 4 at the very end, it was like, oh, see now I see where they're going somewhere. Then he got better in 5 and 6, and then this season and last season,
Yeah.
he was just like, wow, yeah.
Punching himself.
And then alongside Nora development too, I'm like, yay.
I think it feels like Ren didn't have a lot of development just because he is such a stoic character and he's standing right next to such loud characters
Mhm.
that it's like you know what I mean. But like, but yeah, he especially did get development in the most recent seasons. I think I have a hard time thinking of any main character other than like. I love Neo to death, but she's had like no development. I love the character. I love seeing her on screen. She is amazing. Give her some development. Give us backstory next season or something. But
Please.
Yeah.
Exactly.
every
Yeah.
other character has had, even if just discovering their backstory, like Cinder's backstory added so much to the character, even if it didn't change what she was doing now. It gave us a why that really made all of her like monologues make a lot of sense.
I mean, Neo is the only villain that is downstairs with the others, so I am
Yeah.
hoping for Neo development.
I'm so excited for that.
I really hope they
Uh,
go full anime and turn Neo into a hardcore tsundere. I really hope they do.
Oh god, we already got Weiss. Weiss already fills that. Right?
Yeah, I know, but she's less now. I want biggest thing,
Oh.
Neo being mute, she can just like add a whole nother level of just being, all huffy and stuff. It'd be great.
Did anyone have like a favorite song this volume? Like you don't have to actually know the name of it. Hi Avery of House Jade. You don't need to know the name of it, but like can you think of a moment where the music was really amazing? I just love the music. Like I think the music when they all fought Ironwood was
Yeah.
so cool.
Be strong and hit
Mhm.
stuff.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh god,
Now,
it's so good.
I don't remember anything from this one, but last season at the very first episode when they're like it's like the panning shot down of the Atlas air fleet. It's playing that like super militaristic like Atlas theme. I'm like that. I want that.
Avery
My
brings up a good
favorite.
point about Emerald filling some good roles about Tsundere. Sorry, go ahead. I just wanted to.
Yeah, no problem, no problem. Yeah, I was just gonna talk about my favorite things, and actually one of those are music as well. The music in this volume is really great. My favorite music will be the one for Midnight, for Cinder's backstory.
Oh, God.
Where
Yeah.
the part where the song was something along those lines where it tells the story of Cinderella.
The song's about kind of how worthless she feels.
Exactly.
So good,
It really
so
gets
good.
the vibes of Cinderella. So it encapsulates how awful her life is, right? And the very last part is no one really cares is the last line for that song. Is like,
That's just
damn,
like
yeah.
ugh.
Cinder ever since has been alone this entire time, and I understand if everyone
Yeah,
like
and after watching
dislikes
that
her.
episode
Yeah.
and then like going back and realizing what she's done, it's like, yeah, if I was treated like that, I'd hate everybody too.
But I do still hate her. The thing is,
Yeah.
Yeah,
one
Me
of the
too.
characters that I still hate, but I understand why she's like that.
yeah.
Right?
I don't think it
There's
was
a lot of
meant to.
motivation.
I don't think it was meant to gain sympathy.
No,
for
it's
her.
not.
It was just to make you understand why
Exactly.
she was doing this.
Yeah,
and I think that's
it's-
that's
it's
better.
always like that. You should, with villains, you should always like not look for excuses, but look for explanations, and that is what they did really well with that.
And I just want to add a little bit to what Everly said earlier with the lines. The lines and the VAs picked it this volume. It's like it was super nice. I have a lot of like lines prepared already for today, and there is one line. It's just one line from Penny from Jen when she said that one line. It was
Oh
so
yeah. Oh,
feeling of saying the word
I'm
dad
sad now.
brought tears to my eye. It was so oh god. I'm
Oh
tearing
my
right now.
God.
Yeah. it's
Why
so
does
funny.
that get me, but the
Heartbreak.
actual death of her doesn't get me?
Yep. Penny as a character this volume is really good. Oh god, I'm tearing.
The waterworks have started.
But
It's
okay.
time.
Sorry. Forget that.
Oh god.
We haven't even got to the
That's the content the people are here for.
Yep.
People like to watch other people suffer.
Yay.
Oh god.
It's like a train wreck. Oh look, destruction.
What about you, Story
Yeah.
Panda? What were your favorite parts?
I'm actually having trouble picking on a favorite part. What about you, sweetie?
Mine were the last two episodes. You know how I like tragedy.
Yeah,
Oh, those were so good. I can see what they said. This episode was going. This volume was going to be the Empire Strikes Back of the series, and I can see why they would say that.
That's so accurate. It hurts.
Works.
They said that when it was first coming out, and we were like, "Oh, it can't be that bad."
Oh my god, that's great.
It got that bad.
No.
well, we had a whole discussion because we're both writers, but I tend to write what you consider comedies, which means that they have a happy ending, whereas she writes tragedies where they have a sad ending. So,
Mm.
I'm the middle.
we
I write
were
bittersweet
thinking, like,
endings.
chapter 10
I
or
mean-
12, like, what was going to happen? We had a poll going on whether or not Penny was going to make it.
Yeah.
I called it 100% that she wasn't going to make it through this.
I mean, I'm gonna be honest. When they first brought her back, I'm like, they're gonna kill her again, aren't they? And I'm like, and then lo and behold, I'm like, yep. But the way they did it was just like, oh,
It was like
one of my-
she has a death flag and she's waving it. Like,
One of my favorite reactors. They aren't in this stream, but they their reaction to it was so great. It was Puns of Damage, and they
oh
said, at
yes,
the beginning of the last
Yeah.
episode, they said, if they kill another, redhead
redhead.
while saying sorry,
Mhm.
I'm gonna head out. Cuts
And
to
she
the death,
did
and they just stand
She
up and they're
did.
like, I'm gonna head out.
Yep.
And I know they're not here, but congrats to them for getting a job with Rooster Teeth. That's just
Oh, yeah, like,
they're an
basically,
animator
she
on the next
knows
volume.
Great.
like stuff already
Yeah.
about Volume 9.
they-
I'm like,
they got-
oh,
they
you
looked up.
lucky.
I think they're a they. I think they use they them, but they they've said they've read the entire volume, the entire screenplay for the next volume.
Oh my god.
It's either you.
Yeah, even if I know I was in contact with them, I don't think they would have been able to do this. They would have had too many.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
no,
mean,
that's a very good point. Yeah.
yeah.
So they will be in advance when it comes to misery or with happiness. So
Well, I feel like reading it on a script will be vastly different than watching it.
Yes,
that's
absolutely.
true. That's true.
definitely.
Real quick, somebody in my chat, Avery of House Jade, says this is kind of in line with what someone else said earlier. RWBY fans are absolutely grim at heart. We're drawn to the suffering of others. And that's
Exactly.
another way to
Yeah.
look at that.
That
yeah.
makes sense.
Yeah.
That
Oh, yeah,
makes
I
way
saw-
more sense than I wanted to be.
Yeah,
One
there
of my favorite
was.
videos. Go ahead. Sorry.
It's fine. I found a fan art just one day browsing, and it was like all the different Grimm crowded in a tiny room in front of a computer, and there's the dragon, and goes like, next one. Next one.
next
And
one,
I'm like,
next one.
yes! That's so accurate!
One of my favorite things ever on YouTube is the Rooster Teeth crew reacting to Murder of Birds.
Oh,
reacting to Ken's
yeah.
death.
That
was
video.
fun.
That is one of the greatest videos in existence. And they're like,
Oh.
"They killed this man." He's a great dude, by the way. Arnold's a nice guy. I met him. I've hung out with him too. But,
Yep.
very busy guy.
Very busy.
Yeah, I tried.
Yeah, no, he's on like a
You tried. You did your best.
I tried
He
on
is,
here,
like,
but,
when it
I'm
comes to,
very
like-
busy.
When it comes to people who make RWBY content, he's S tier.
Yeah, well, yeah, he's like,
The
Anyways,
person.
yeah, so many good things with volume. I can't even. Are we gonna get into what we didn't like about the volume? Because I don't have anything to add to that.
I mean,
Well, check
I
out
didn't
things.
say much yet, but
Allie hasn't really had a chance.
Sorry, back to Allie. Back to
I
Allie.
was waiting
I'm still
patiently for you all to finish.
Allie, what did you like
Oh,
about
Allie,
the
yeah.
volume?
I'm a writer, so I love the writing. I don't know, that's kind of the one thing that stood out to me a lot. Like, all the lines fitted the characters perfectly, and I was like,
Do you have anything
just
to say?
in heaven.
Okay.
Listening to them all talk and like being that's just how I imagined them to be. And yeah, the pacing, what you said, Everly, the pacing was great. Even though it was only like supposed to be 2 days, it felt a lot longer, and yet it wasn't boring at all. Like, there was always something going on, even if it was just an emotional scene. And I love what they did with some of the characters. Like, I've put Emerald up there because her redemption, I wanted that for so long.
Oh, it was so.
It
Well.
was so obvious, though.
her being so snarky and socially awkward is the best thing that could have ever happened to a character. Because
Yeah.
that just adds to this group so well.
It was beautiful.
What I
She's
also
gonna
liked was
be-
the Whitley stuff. Because I loved Whitley from the start, I was like, I need him to have character development. And they gave it to me, and I'm happy.
Oh,
It
I'm
only
so happy
took 4
that they did.
years.
It only took
That
a
caught me
while.
off guard. I did not like Willie.
He's only been in like 2 volumes, so.
He was introduced in 4, and then he was around in 5, not in 6, and then 7 and 8. But then again, it took us almost 8 years to get Cinder backstory when we were,
That
So,
took a long time.
Just to say what the people in my chat say. Avery, thank you for the hug. Noble, the writing gets way better. Yes. So if you haven't watched it yet, you might want to sit this down because you might want.
If you haven't seen the show yet, and you're watching this.
Don't watch
What
this.
is your issue?
Amazing. It's amazing. But if you're not, if you're okay with spoilers and
Then
you're a
yeah,
masochist like me, then that's fine. Then.
I will say that it's pretty much a different show from Volume 1
Yeah.
to Volume 8.
Exactly.
It is.
Yeah.
If you sat somebody down and made them watch the first episode and the last episode, it
Oh.
wouldn't be recognizable as the same
Nope.
series.
I mean,
Um,
just the difference between 1 and 2 is pretty startling.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And it just
Even one
gets
one and
way
three.
different every time.
1, 2, and
boring.
3. Yeah.
Yeah. I remember when I first saw the Volume 4 trailer, I'm like, yo, it's so pretty. This is like going from like Morrowind to Skyrim. It's like that kind of a jump.
Oh gosh. Those were times.
He also said, I know I probably shouldn't be here for spoilers, but so far, I don't know what you guys are talking about. Well, so far we are just talking about our favorite parts,
Yeah.
and you will get lost in it if you haven't watched Volume 8 as well. But like I said, if you haven't watched the volume yet, I highly suggest you sit down if you're not okay with spoilers. If you're okay with that, then torture yourself with me. Then yeah, let's go.
Torture.
You're okay with that, so. But yeah, Volume 8 is great. If you haven't seen it yet, I highly suggest you watch it first.
Yeah.
Just to get your feelings out.
I know lots of
I already
people who
cried
stopped during like volumes 4 or 5, and I always tell them like, you have to continue. It's getting better. It's getting way better.
Yeah, it had a dip, but then it went shoo.
I mean, I liked a lot of stuff in 5 when a lot of people didn't. I don't know. I think I'm just weird.
I don't have any volumes that I hated.
I don't either. I mean, I see the
There are
issues.
something better than
I
others,
see the
right?
issues, but that doesn't mean I don't like it.
Yeah,
And yet,
like
I can see the others, the following like 6, 7, and 8 are just going upwards.
Yeah, I don't get them. Those people confuse me.
Oh. Well, I mean, art is subjective. People like what they like or don't like what they don't like. I like Av just wants more Coco content, and
maybe we'll get that. We might get that soon.
Time for everyone's favorite bunny girl to kick major ass.
I still have to read the books. I
have both. I have the novels on my shelf.
I have the second, but I don't have the first. I have to reorder it because it never came.
Just like I just recently ordered the 3 manga. Well, the first 2, and then I pre-ordered the 3rd, so I'm gonna have to read those.
Great.
I read the anthologies.
I haven't read it yet. Yeah.
I haven't like looked at any of those because I'm like, I do love this show, but I'm like, do I love the show enough to read a physical book though?
See, I'm a reader, so that's not a
Me
scary
too. I mean, for me,
Now,
this is just
if
like,
I could
bonus
get it like
content.
digitally, full send.
Oh, what?
Thank you for joining.
RWBY Justice League crossover? Is that what I heard people talking about?
So bad.
Oh yeah, I've seen some stuff, and apparently Weiss and Bruce Wayne get along really well, which I think is hilarious.
They have a love-hate relationship, from what I was seeing. Like they.
Oh yeah, it's great.
Yeah, because they're both rich brats. When it comes down to it.
But
And
you know,
I'm just yes,
exactly.
please.
but one is just like, I'm a positive rich brat, and the other one's just like, I am the knight.
That's true.
I'm not a DC person,
Yes,
so
Noble.
I don't know what to say to
There's
this.
a DC crossover for it. Yes, there's a DC crossover for RWBY.
Yeah,
Noble.
They basically took the several Justice League characters and they put them in the RWBY universe. Like Batman is a Faunus. And
Okay, is he a bat faunus?
I think he is.
Really?
Good.
But
They
he keeps
made
it hidden.
Batman a Faunus.
But he keeps it hidden because he's a rich person in Atlas.
Ah, oh, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
That
I
is
believe
actually
he got bad
interesting.
ears, I believe.
He does, but
Or
he keeps them
part.
under he keeps them hidden. Yeah.
Even though I'm
And
not a
then-
DC person, I might check that out because that sounds like an interesting concept.
And they have the characters are really well handled, and they're kind of like I forget who, but they're kind of shipping Wonder Woman with one of the women. I can't remember who. It might be Blake.
Okay.
Or something. And they've got like a RWBY Clark Kent thing going. I think I don't know, but it looks fantastic.
So, like, which Justice League members are in it?
It's Wonder Woman, Batman, Superman.
Yeah.
I think it's those
Green
three.
Lantern.
I don't know if
No,
I know those three are in it.
Green Lantern.
Okay.
And then I thought there were 5. Well, maybe there's only 4.
I think
Maybe
I saw the Flash in one of them.
The Flash.
Okay.
Yeah. Because those are the 5 most known.
And now I'm
characters
just
for-
curious, like, how did they translate their powers into the real world?
They just gave them semblances that are somewhat similar. Like obviously they're not going to give them their full power spread because Superman would not work.
Nope. He will destroy
Yeah.
Remnant.
Superman will defeat Salem in a heartbeat.
Superman weak to magic. So there you go.
Oh, yeah.
Magic. There you go. Yeah, that's his weakness.
Oh my god, yeah.
But yeah, I'm
Yeah, I
excited
got
about the new.
confirmation in my chat. Green Lantern and Flash are going to be in it.
Oh, okay, great.
Yeah.
I'm excited about that RWBY video game coming to Switch, so I can make Adam
Greenlit.
play it with
Oh.
me.
I bought that game when it came out. I love it so much.
Yeah, I have it on PC, but I haven't played it much. But the Switch version comes with like all of the
All like
DLC
the costumes
and new costumes and characters.
I don't have a Switch.
and characters. What?
No,
Oh,
they added more characters later in DLC. So
Oh,
this
yeah.
one
I
includes
mean,
all
yeah,
those
Team
characters, and it has outfits up down going all the way up to Volume 8.
oh.
I just remember playing Weiss in her pajamas, running around killing me.
Oh yeah. I mean, they gave in the PC version. They have the Volume 4 outfits, but that's it. I don't know, it's just like, give me a Volume 8 outfit, please. That'd be great. Because then
Yeah.
Weiss could have triple the amount of hair she did in 6, because logic.
Yeah,
Because
it's
that's how it works.
anime. Who cares?
I like how
Let them
everyone cut their hair and Weiss is just like, more.
Weiss
think
just
they
added
just
the hair of
dyed
the others.
Yeah, they dyed everybody's hair and gave it to her, and she just
Hair extensions.
yeah.
Literally. Oh god, that's terrifying. Does that mean like when Weiss is asleep, Yang goes over to her part and starts stroking? Is like, I miss you.
Oh my god.
I mean, I don't think Yang would ever.
She's very protective
No.
of her hair, though.
that's
Yeah.
true. Like, I have the RWBY board game, and I've only had a chance to play it once since I got it. I'm like,
Yeah, I watched Blindway play it, and I'm like, this seems really complex, but also kind of rewarding.
it's
Yeah.
very fun. When I played it, it's very fun.
Okay.
We never really got a chance to play it. We have it and the expansions for the
Mm-hmm.
like villains and stuff, but we played it maybe one time and we were confused the entire time, and we just it's a difficult game to play,
Oh yeah.
especially with
Yeah.
a 7-year-old who gets bored right away.
Yeah, it's
Makes
definitely
sense.
not like it's a more complicated board game. It's probably more.
Yeah.
And I repeat, give us chibi. Give us more chibi.
See, Atlas is a great time to bring chibi in. They could do
Yeah.
all these different chibi stories in the couple of months they spent there in Volume 6.
Yeah.
Was it a couple of months? Because isn't the start of 6 the end of 8 like 45 days or something ridiculous like
it's
that?
been like I saw somebody be like, "Oh, why aren't Blank and Yang? Why haven't they moved on yet?" And it's like literally Adam's death was like a month ago.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's still like
It's
really
fresh.
wasn't
time.
Like, doesn't this volume take place over 3 days or something ridiculous
this
like
volume
that?
literally takes place over like 3 or 4 days.
Yeah, it's mental.
I mean, the most time that was like going on was the when we had the Brand New Day song going on with the whole mix-up of how they trained, how they did missions, and all that. Like that was
Yeah.
the longest time in all the volumes after the whole Adams stuff. So
Mhm.
of course they didn't move on.
Does
Nope.
anyone have a favorite moment or scene from Volume 8?
Oh, yeah.
Of?
Whew.
I have got
idea.
many.
Yeah,
I
not many,
have
but I
a
mean, just
few.
try to like
Narrow it down. Gotcha.
narrow it down. Like for me,
I have one. Yeah.
My favorite is when everybody fights Ironwood on the balcony, and like it's a really short scene, but it's fantastic. And seeing his reaction to Winter fighting him, and everybody standing up to him, and then Weiss doing her super awesome Ayajutsu like anime 1/ thing is like.
Oh
one of
yeah,
my favorite
when I
things
saw
ever.
that, I was like, "Oh, she gonna cut his arm off." Then the whole screen went black, and that flash happened. And I'm like, "All right, went full on anime there. I'm okay with it."
Full on anime.
I also
My
liked how
second
it
favorite-
started, the scene. Like, I know I'm simping over Emerald today, but the whole, like, I
Okay,
am.
when
Right.
when the illusion of Penny flew in, it was Penny's voice. Does that mean
Yes.
Emerald's illusion goes so far to mimic the voice of the person as
I
well?
mean,
already done that.
she's
She
influencing
mimicked-
the mind.
Shit.
So
It
she
already
can
happened.
basically make him hear that.
earlier,
She's hijacking
earlier in
the mind. Oh,
Yeah, earlier in the volume, she made Salem see the big guy instead
Hazel.
of Oscar, and he.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I
That's
just
so-
like I was
Oh, yeah, I wanna
listening
talk
to
about
that, and
that.
I was just like, "Wait, what?" And then
Yeah.
she turns it off at the last
Yeah.
second.
just to get
I
that
wanna talk
movie.
about that
I
as
know,
well later.
it was weird.
yeah.
My second favorite moment, though, is when Nora shoves Jean in the transportation tube.
You mean Weiss?
Yes, sorry, shoves Weiss in the transportation.
Weiss.
Jean
Just
wasn't there.
sits down,
That
slam,
was a meme.
shoot.
That was mean perfect.
And then
was
everyone's
great.
just like staring blankly, Nora's just giddy. I'm like, yeah, this is why you're everyone's favorite second character. That was hilarious.
That was great.
Anyone
Oh.
else?
Well, I do have one on top of everything else. Everything is great, but my favorite moment, especially after I watched rewatched for my notes, was Chapter 5, Amity. Like my favorite part and my favorite line is when Pietro said, "I don't care about the big picture. I care about my daughter, because I want a chance to watch you live your life."
Ooh,
Imagine
It hits differently
going
now.
back- Imagine going back from volume 13 and rewatching that, and hearing Pietro said, "I want you to live your life." Like,
Yeah.
That's sad.
And isn't that the last we see of Pietro and Maria for the
We
whole
We
rest
haven't
of the
seen them. We
Yeah.
didn't see them
We
the
didn't
entire
see them
second
at all.
half of the volume.
Yeah, I'm just
Don't
like,
worry.
so they just still in Amity?
Probably.
But when you remember that it literally takes place over like 3 days,
Yeah.
so that last
Yeah.
half of the volume was probably only like maybe 12 hours.
Yeah.
Maybe
Mhm.
12, 24 hours. It makes sense that we didn't see them. Like,
Yeah.
I get
and
Also, the fact that our characters probably haven't slept in well over 3 days.
didn't I
you could tell
say
by their
that
decision making.
we're
Oh, yeah,
never
it was
going to
definitely
sleep
Ironwood.
again?
And then
John
in
was
my,
able to
of
sleep
course,
a little bit.
due to his lack of sleep, my mind went to day 5, and I'm like, how many days has he been awake? Has it been 5th day? Alright, that's why he's crazy. That's just where my head went.
There's one person that was able to get some sleep. Nora.
Who? Yeah, Nora.
Nora.
Well, that was not by her
That was-
choice.
That was not by choice, but she was.
It
able to get
was
some sleep.
It
Yeah.
was like I just overcharged my entire body with like several
I think
thousand volts.
Technically, it was her choice to do that to help.
Yeah.
But,
Okay.
yeah.
Also, I love the fact that they're keeping the scars on her body. I love that.
Yes. I just love
Because I
what
was
they
like,
did with Nora
yes.
this volume too. Just the whole thing, and also them being mature about the whole "I need to find myself first" thing.
Oh yeah.
I love that. I love
I
that they didn't
swear,
just do,
if
"Oh yeah,
Nora,
we're happy now
like-
we're together."
If Nora gets lightning tattoos all over her scars, I'm just gonna be like, "Oh my god, you are perfect." Because that is what she would do. Just get a bunch of pink lightning bolts in place of her scars. Oh
John was able to take a nap for a little bit.
yeah, he was.
Yeah, right in the shed. That's about
Just
it.
for a
That
while.
random little outpost.
Yeah,
After
I've been rewatching
and snapped
everything.
at him.
When all that drama went off.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I still find it hard to believe that this is the same volume where we saw the Hound and then it talked and we thought that was the most, crazy thing
Yeah.
we would ever see. And then the rest of the
First
season
Hound,
happened
right.
and we're like, nope, that was literally the most tame
That-
thing.
Yeah, that's
They-
also like the whole whale stuff going on, and then just it's not the worst thing that happened.
I know. I mean, like, he's like, that whale must have taken so much energy on Salem's part just to manifest something of that scale. And, like, with all, like, the passageways and the doors and the way the whale worked, she must have spent a long time
Yeah.
working on that thing.
I'm also getting mentions of that Cinder kind of got to take a nap, and Oscar too, against his will. So
Fair point. So a lot of people did get sleep, but not the people who needed it. Ironwood.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it looks great.
Do you guys want to talk about the dislikes now?
I don't have many.
Well, unless there is any last thing anyone else wants to say.
There was
yeah.
something, but not in season 8. So I probably should have said it.
Well, what did you really like?
I really like when he said, "I'm flanking part on the Calvin Crow says it." Remember?
When he says I am and falls off the couch?
Yeah.
That's a great moment. That's what there's a dislike we can start with. We needed more Crow Ruby Yang interaction.
Yeah.
Yep.
yeah, but I mean, it makes kind of sense what they did, even though
Yeah.
it's. I still like the moment where in the end you could just not hear any sounds, but you could just see Crow scream their names.
But didn't Crow and Robin meet Winter, and didn't Winter tell Crow the plan of what they were doing?
But but they don't know if everyone got out. They have no idea if everyone got out.
I think Crow picked a really bad time to stop being an alcoholic. Like, this is the ideal time to be one.
Well,
especially
he might
after
have
this.
a relapse.
Well,
I mean, it
He
wouldn't be that
probably
far.
will, and then Robin will just smack him repeatedly until he stops.
Oh yes, I want to see that.
Yeah.
I want to see Robin slap Crow so many times.
Fortunately, he doesn't have any alcohol in, like near him, right? So he can't drink, anyways.
Well, I mean, given how they are on the complete opposite end of the world of where they need to be, they're probably gonna like stick around, try and find any like surviving people, because we still have all those airships up there. They're still there, and they just watched their entire kingdom crash into the earth. And now they're like, well, what are we going to do? We can't land there and refuel. We all have to fly over to Argus, and Argus isn't big enough to hold the entirety of the Atlas fleet. So I'm like, also, they evacuated all the civilians. Did they just leave all of the military people to die? Like, all
Depends
like
on where they
comm
were.
specialists and the medics and stuff?
I'm pretty sure a lot of them. I don't think so.
Okay, because if they did, and like I'll be, because if that does end up like being true, I'll be like, wow.
Just
I mean,
because
they
didn't show something doesn't make it a plot hole.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't think
they
that-
did have portals all over Atlas, so
True. So the military could probably have just
they could have
failed
just gone
through.
through too.
Well,
I will
except
be
for
honest.
people in Central Command, but
The one thing I wish they had shown, so we have a definitive answer, is what happened to Maria and Pietro.
Yeah,
Because
they talked about that.
did they talk about that? I'm sorry.
we mentioned it a little
They
bit.
said on one part of
That-
Allie that they were drifting north. That's
The
it.
thing
They were drifting
with
north.
Pietro and Penny is probably the first time I've genuinely sobbed on camera. Because that last moment where he's panically crying out to her, it's like one of those things I've noticed as a father now hits me differently. And we were watching, and I started like blinking, and we start talking. I'm talking like this a couple of times. Back to sobs. And
Oh no.
so I really wish we knew what happened to them. Did they make it through the portals? Are they still on Amity?
well,
what
apparently after the message went out, Amity was like damaged by Cinder being Cinder,
was
and
just
like
drifting.
the propulsion systems were all janked, so it's slowly just drifting in direction with them on it.
That they said it at one
Yeah.
point in the volume.
I mean,
Did they? I must have missed it.
I mean, I kind of, if they touch on that, I mean, the only ones still kind of in the vicinity of Atlas are, like, Robin, Crow, and the rest of the Aesops. So,
Aesops,
I guess if someone meets up there, then they will do that. I hope.
Yeah.
I mean, or they're just on their own. Two old people on their own. would be a great spin-off, though.
Or like the Atlas military is like, well, Alice is gone, Mantle is gone. There's Amity, and they look, and it's like going away, so they go fetch Amity and then bring it back to Argus. And then like Pietro and Maria are just like kind of stuck in Argus, and then like Crow and the Aesops have to go and get them out, avoid being shot, because they're probably going to be shot on sight for terrorism. Let's be real. And then they're gonna have to just go across the whole planet.
What I want to know is what Cordovan will think now. What happened to Atlas?
Oh, she's not gonna be
She's
happy.
gotta be
Might
broken.
Atlas has just fallen.
Oh,
Olympus has fallen. No,
Atlas has not
fallen, sorry.
prevailed.
yeah. Oh, Atlas is now Atlantis. You know, there's the
Yeah.
whole that.
I love that. I was like,
Where did that water come from? Where did it come from?
I mean, it is.
It's like underwater.
They made
Wasn't
such
that
a crater that
frozen?
everything.
That's the prediction.
Oops, Everly's gone.
Oh, no,
that
I'm still
happened?
not.
How did that happen?
Four of us.
Yeah, I still have everyone but Everly.
Yeah,
Yeah,
her internet could have, died.
Oh no.
maybe.
Let me
Net is hiccuping. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, she'll get back to us when she can.
Yeah.
I just want to address some of the people in my chat. Please do not play the sound alerts. I don't know why they're playing, despite that there's no connection to them right now. But thank you so much. Noble said, what was it? What part was I at again with the eye power? That's volume 3, and I guess you're starting at volume 4, so you're so far away.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're a good 4 seasons behind.
Here's a good one. Rosalie said, Atlas will prevail. It prevailed at making a huge man-made lake. That's what it prevailed at.
Exactly.
Yeah, that did.
I mean, yeah, it's just like, okay, so I'm just gonna assume that they're all gonna head to Vacuo as soon as they can.
Probably.
Things in Vacuo are not gonna look good because the last time anybody saw or something, I just have this thought in my head that they're gonna get to Vacuo. People of Vacuo, like the council and stuff, are gonna be really pissed that they have 2 kingdoms of refugees that they now have to deal with, and they're gonna be like, no, we can't.
I mean,
You have to fend for yourself.
I remember the times a few years ago when there were a lot of fugitives here coming to Europe and all that. It was a mess, and yeah. If Vacuo has to deal with that,
Oh yeah, and then on top of that, they're the most dangerous kingdom, quote unquote, because desert plus tons of Grim. And
not only that, it's just that in World of Remnant, they hated people who tried to conquer their kingdom because of the resources that they had, and one of them was Atlas. Atlas was the most notorious.
They just exploited them. Mm.
They just hardcore exploited them. And so they're like, if it was like Vale or Mistral, even Menagerie, sure, but the fact that it's Atlas and Mantle, they're gonna be like, they're either gonna do it out of spite or out of necessity or both. Because there's no way they can accommodate 2 entire kingdoms worth of people in one place. Now they're gonna have to send hundreds of ships across the planet to spread them across evenly.
If they can. If they have the ships.
Yeah, even if they can, because I don't know, because as stated, now this is the only one that really had a military, and now that and all those ships were destroyed, a lot of them were destroyed, but still a lot of them are up there. They're still military vessels, not transports. Mm-hmm. So they're going to go to the nearest place, which is most likely Argus, and just bunker down and shoot anything and everything that comes close to them. Mm-hmm. That's what's going to happen. And then, all these people are just going to have to live. It's going to be like the shanty town that was made in New York in the 30s. It's going to be like that. They're going to be living near or within the area, just not in the actual city.
Which is dangerous.
I think Argus can accommodate them. It's just that it's super hard. One, because Argus is half Atlas, half Mistral, and they need to accommodate them because basically it's trying to.
Well, yeah, but I mean, here's the thing: that the military that's at Argus now is 10 of those gunships and that big robot. That's it. Now they're getting hundreds, maybe even thousands of military personnel and at least 20 of those big ass capital ship things, plus all their little minor ships, plus all the military androids, and all of it and then once people in Argus hear that both Atlas and Mantle are dead, that's gonna create panic, and then they're gonna have another Grim invasion.
Yay!
Yeah.
Because we knew how it went when the Fall of Beacon was on TV.
Oh yeah.
There's also one thing that I want to talk about with regards to the continent itself of Sanus. There's a lot more things that they can actually get a foothold of, especially on the coastline of Sanus, because it's not really that populated yet,
No.
right?
Yeah, they're
It's
just
like
yeah.
in between whale and vacuum. It's still like
Yeah.
some space.
yeah,
But
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 it's like
That's
grim
still
infested
the
country.
halfway marker. They are at vacuum. They're gonna have to hike all the way to that middle point.
That's true.
Yeah,
Unless, of
people are gonna
course, they
die.
just use the
let it
staff
right.
to just do the exact
Really?
They
same
don't
thing
have
and
the
just
staff.
more.
They don't have the staff.
Oh, right, they
Problem.
can't.
They just
can't.
can't.
So all those
They gotta
people
have to
are
do it by
stuck there.
themselves.
I just want to correct myself earlier when I said what Pietro said about them drifting north. They were drifting north off, and then he got cut off. So basically, they're north of somewhere.
Yeah, they're
Yes.
It's
not
either
just
vacuum
out of
or
range.
target. Yeah.
Alright.
So, yeah, that's about it.
Also, side note about all the continents. We haven't seen what like the other dragon continent looks like because we got the black one up on the top left, which is where Salem is most likely. Then we have the other one on the right. And we haven't really like acknowledged the fact that look, dragon continent on the right. I wonder if there's good things there.
Maybe that's where they ended up in when they fell.
Oh, well that
Probably
actually
that.
that'd be cool.
I have a few theories about that as well, with regards to.
I'm pretty sure
where
it's
they
some
end up.
sort of weird like purgatory place.
It's,
Possibly. Is there,
It's a
anything
pocket
else
dimension.
before we get too more deeper into theories and predictions? Anything else anyone didn't like?
Didn't
Or are we
like.
just gonna
Uh,
we just like
Okay, actually, I have one complaint. So, back after the hiatus was over, and we got that episode where we saw like all the military attacking the Grimm and stuff. That was like the first wave because the whale landed and then it hit the hiatus, right? Because the whale landed.
Yeah.
Or was that the next episode? I don't remember.
think so.
But
I don't know.
The whale landed and let all those little thingies out. And Atlas is just like, alright, we have this big wall here. Let's not use it. Because I made a post on the official RWBY subreddit ranting about how terrible the formation of the military was and how limited it was. Because I play a lot of Total War strategy games, so my strategy games start kicking in. I was like, okay, there's nothing stopping the horde of melee monsters to just go up to your ranged units and start killing them. You need like a buffer. Whether it be those robots or trenches, where you need a buffer. And then, of course, they have those big robots. I was like, alright, use them. Just throw them into hordes and just, let them do their thing. And if they die and explode, well, they'll take some Grim out with them. But like, no, we just have...
the convenience of Jon Snow, okay? Line all your forces up outside the wall to fight the enemy, okay?
Or just like have like, and I'm really surprised they don't have guns built into that wall, or like places where people can stand and shoot.
I don't
'Cause-
think that they are too prepared for Atlas being attacked. They were like, we're safe up
Exactly.
here in the air.
They are so unprepared for
Yeah.
like
I mean,
super.
That's
Atlas's
just how it is.
power is its air force.
Yeah,
That's
but they went
without a doubt.
elsewhere. They went
Yeah, everything
elsewhere
else.
to use that power.
No, we have-
They never
we have to
used
take
it
note.
to defend themselves.
Yeah,
Exactly. We
I
also
mean-
have to take note that it's run by one person. Even if they have a council, it's being run by one person alone.
who is
And-
also in charge of the Huntsman Academy?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And
So you're
his head
saying
is not
that
in the right mind.
charge.
Cause yeah,
Exactly.
I mean, okay, if being the general of an entire military is bad enough, being the headmaster of a academy where your whole job is to train people to protect others from shadow demons, while on top of that is bad. I can honestly understand why the man is stressed and doesn't sleep and is constantly paranoid.
Overwork.
Yeah.
But then
I mean,
again-
It's overwork. He's having too
Then
much
again,
coffee.
no one really had the foresight. I was like, Ironwood's really stressed. I know. Just take a frying pan to the back of the head. Bang.
One thing
Just
I
knock
noticed as well.
his ass out.
One thing I noticed as well is that everyone has to confirm first with Ironwood before they do anything. That's why
Mhm.
nothing ever gets finished in Atlas.
I mean,
So that's
Yeah.
why.
how big must the document like mountain be on his desk all the
It's
time?
probably just all digital. But he's saying, I'm just like, why doesn't he have like commanders and captains and
Yeah, I
lieutenants?
don't know.
Like, where's the chain? There is
There's
none.
no chain of commands.
There's
There is
just
only
He was like,
Ironwood.
I don't need
Special
a
agents and then everybody else.
Yeah,
The special agents doesn't even like sign off papers.
No,
There's
they just
no one
do
to sign
stuff.
off papers. It's just him.
In other words, he had to set up for a long time of becoming a dictator.
Yeah.
technically,
He-
it's
I mean, yeah.
absolute power.
Also,
But he's saying
there's
he
no
didn't
papers.
have absolute power. That's the sad thing. He had
There's
a
no
lot of
papers.
power.
It's just verbal approval is all they need from him. That's it.
Yeah.
Like,
Plus, everyone's been saying, "Oh, his semblance is partially to blame for him." Like, yeah, that's probably right, but we don't really know what it does because people have either said it either makes him super focused on one thing, so like actual
Well-
forced tunnel vision, or it turns off his emotions and functions solely on logic, which would make which actually would make a lot of sense because Cinder was always running off emotions, but then Watts yelled at her, and she realized, oh, emotions and logic, I can use both, and that's what she did. And then Crow was just full on emotions until Robin was like, no, you are better than this. And then he was just like, all right, now they got to be reasonable.
I don't see that it's something logical to him because there's a lot of things that doesn't sound
Well,
logical.
in his
I know.
mind,
To be honest.
if Mantle is no longer in the equation, then everything can go towards Atlas.
Yeah,
That's the
It's
logical
more of-
conclusion.
It's more of the will, like the will to pursue what needs to be done. Like,
But then again-
no, like if you only have to do this thing and this thing alone, no matter what the consequences, we're gonna have to push through with it, and that's my decision.
yeah,
Yeah.
because
I think that's
it
what
can't
it
be it can't be logic because for
Mhm.
most like a lot of the things he did, you could argue that there are more logical like things you could do, like almost all the time. I did it actually in my reaction when he was talking about the winter, like winter
Ooh.
failed. Oh, they're gone too.
Oh.
We're
Oh dear,
alone now.
No,
We're dropping
no.
like flies.
I mean, should I just?
Oh, nope, they're there.
Here we are.
hey,
That was weird.
Yeah, that was weird.
I just completely clunked out. Hold on. Can you let me go into the thing, please?
Oops.
Okay, and then turn our camera back
Technical
on.
difficulties.
And go full screen.
sorry about that.
Sorry. But yeah, what I was saying.
Is that everyone? Or is that just us?
It was only you vanishing
Yes.
from
Okay.
existence for a while. No, what I was saying is the part where they said, "Hey, winter failed, and we still have the bomb." And I was saying that actually in my video, there could be a hostage situation going on there. He could use winter to get them to do whatever, but no, he chose the thing that would kill
Yeah.
so many more people.
Okay.
Yeah.
Even though there's more
Because-
logical things.
Fully back now.
In Ironwood's head, Mantle provides nothing in the grand scheme of things. That's how Ironwood thinks. Because he's thinking
yeah.
down the line there will be a battle where there will be like Salem and all her cronies and millions of Grimm versus the entire united people of Remnant. Now this is going to make up 50% of that army. That's what he's thinking. And he's thinking Mantle doesn't provide anything to that equation, so if it doesn't provide, it must take away. Because Atlas is always viewed Mantle as like a leech, just siphoning off its resources because they can't do anything, or whatever. That's how they view it. Whether it's accurate or not is up to interpretation. But
Interpretation.
yeah, Ironwood in his head, if he removed this thing that's siphoning resources from the thing he's trying to protect, that siphon stops. And if that place is gone, those people protecting that place will have no choice but to go to Atlas and thus protect Atlas or whatever. That's how he thought. And then I started thinking of like, okay, yeah, some of this is logic, some of this is emotion, but other than that, I think it's just like he's just so tired. He's just tired of like people like telling him what to do, thinking they know better. He think even if Ironwood didn't go crazy, he'd still have a major issue with the girls taking the staff and letting his whole kingdom plummet into the earth. Just on the say so of some 15-year-old girl in a hood. He ain't gonna do that. Even if he were like best friends, he would not do that and rather kill them than let Atlas like burn.
I want to know your take on this one, David, as well.
Because Ironwood went down this way because Cinder left one chess piece on his desk. If she hadn't done that, he wouldn't have snapped.
Because of that. This was just like the last
So
straw
if you
for him.
think about it, Cinder is the reason why Atlas fell. Because if she didn't do that, Ironwood would still probably be on their side, and his whole volume probably would have changed. Granted, the end, he still probably would have fought people, but he wouldn't have threatened to, commit genocide alongside it. Because he still probably would have said, touch Staff, Staff keep Atlas in air. And then Winter would probably just knock him out, put him in a ship, and say, I'm sorry. And then she'd be court-martialed or something. And she is like, you are no longer in the Atlas military, you are banished from whatever is left of Atlas, go somewhere else. And that's probably what happened, but nope, Cinder had to be Cinder and throw a giant wrench in the Ironwood gears.
I mean, of course. What else would she do? That's just how she rolls.
That's just how she do.
Yeah.
Just being extra.
Clara, there was something you said that you wanted to say that you didn't like?
Yeah, Ironwood.
Great way to try it out.
Ironwood. I did not like him.
I mean,
Yeah, he was a mean person.
Very black and white. And he was not a good guy. So therefore...
Yeah, Ironwood is.
Why am I just imagining Clara in a Roman Colosseum type
you can't
thingy?
see him at the time.
Just, should we spare him or should we just get rid of him?
Yeah.
Great.
Oh god, but
Yeah,
besides...
there's a lot of. Yeah, in my notes, there's a lot of things that I said. God damn it, Ironwood. God damn it, Ironwood. God damn it, Ironwood. And
Oh yeah.
that's basically that.
Also, Jason Rose, who does Ironwood's voice, killed it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He
he
did
did a
so
great
well.
job.
He did the whole I have no emotions. It was and then
He
of
has.
course,
Paranoia.
when someone is an emotionless robot, I always think of the Vulcans in Star Trek, and I'm like, yeah, and that doesn't work out for them. So you gotta need a good balance of both in order to function properly.
Yeah, I just want to praise him a lot because Ironwood is my most hated character right now. Not character-wise. His character development is great.
Okay, yeah, as a
Character
person,
development
it's
was
like the
great.
thing. Yeah, it's like the
He's the
thing where
character
you.
that I love to hate.
Yeah, you love to hate them. You're like, as a character, I love to watch them on screen just becoming more corrupted every time. But as a person, you would just
No.
you would just never want to meet them.
Now, and that's kind of the beauty of it. So I like how Ironwood went from possibly bad guy to oh no, he's the good guy to immediately worse than Salem.
Beginning of the volume, just let me shoot someone
I feel
randomly.
the moment was when he was just like, I'm gonna commit child murder, bang.
Yeah,
There's actually
shot
some
Oscar.
there's some glimpses of it, right? On volume 2, when he basically told the council that Austin is not doing well. Maybe I should take over. Yada yada yada. And so
and
just
giving
from his
yourself
volume,
even more work.
Ironwood thinks that military power is the number one thing that will protect people. He thinks it's the collective, not the individual, that will win out.
Yeah.
Which is why he created the Aesopts, the individuals. And that's where he filled in that gap, but clearly that gap wasn't large enough.
Yeah, not really.
I mean, it was for a time. Then, things happened.
People
I
died.
think
Lots of people died. Like,
Yeah,
several,
this volume has the highest named character death count.
and like I guarantee if there's like I bet Vacuo has like records of like everything, like all the population of all the kingdoms, what their military is,
Maybe.
just like spying on them and stuff. I bet, because they just don't like them, so they would probably spy on them and be like, here's the total population from like 2 years ago of Atlas and Mantle. And here's how many
Let's
people we
count.
have. See that big number difference? Yeah, all those people are dead because of you, and points at like Juniper and Winter, because they are responsible for Atlas falling. Literally, no matter what way you look at it, they are the reason why it is in the ground, and people are gonna hear that these group of huntsmen defeated Ironwood and his military, stole the staff, and purposely crashed Atlas into Mantle while Atlas tried to evacuate everybody. That's what's gonna happen. 'Cause
Yeah,
that's what
it's-
people will
Will they?
believe.
Because not that many people know about staff.
Well, I mean,
Only
you
I-
think if they're
So most
Winter is probably going to tell the Vacuo headmaster what happened, and he's either going to believe her, not believe her, or be skeptical. And then he's going to like send his little minions out to find information, and eventually the information will get out, and they will most likely be branded as terrorists.
Yeah, that's like the problem about perspective, because in the perspective of our characters it was the best possible solution to save as many people as possible, but in the eyes of like outsiders, it will not look that way.
Yeah,
At
much
all.
like the Fall of Beacon. The last thing everybody saw was Atlas robots shooting at innocent people.
here's the
Even
thing
though-
with. Oh, go ahead.
Even though that was Watt's doing, as we later find out, that's the last thing people on Vacuo saw, was Atlas attacking innocent people. So they probably went full-on alert mode after that, and then Ruby's message came through, which is again about Atlas and how bad everything's gotten. So any goodwill that Vacuo had toward Atlas was immediately destroyed afterwards.
And with what Allie said about perspective, imagine as well, because we are all watchers. We know, we have like the all-knowing eye. We know everything.
We have
People
Wikipedia.
People in the story doesn't know what's happening.
Definitely not.
They have a bad version of CNN, so basically, or any of the TV shows as well. But yeah, so you know, it's really hard to get. It's really hard to get a good side of the news. What thing or what information are we gonna take in? What are we gonna believe in? Because the CCT in Vale that got attacked just gone silent,
Yeah.
and we don't have any other.
And
other
people
clues
went
about it.
off what they saw last, and and
Exactly.
interpreted
Yeah.
their own version. That's just what happens.
Vacuo probably has created their own versions of the events. Then after the Ruby message, they probably were people were just like up in a big uproar, and then they're like, all right, well, this is now twice that Alice has been involved with something that could be possibly global life threatening.
Yeah.
Terrific said in my chat, you're forgetting about the video was sent globally.
Oh yeah, that's
he
what I'm
said-
saying.
But they didn't.
Yeah.
They didn't explain much.
No, they really
explained
didn't.
a little bit. They only said, "Hey, the headmasters can tell you about it. Glinda Goodwitch can tell you about it." Like those things. They
And then-
didn't give all the details, and they
And
didn't
then
have time for all the
Ruby's-
details.
And then Ruby was just like, Ironwood cannot be trusted. Atlas is gonna fall. Blah blah blah. And so Ruby kind of, well, not really kind of. She threw Ironwood directly underneath the bus of the rest of the planet, where everyone was just like indifferent about him. And now that he's possibly dead, that doesn't really matter much. But if, for instance, the Vacuo headmaster was like buddy with Ironwood and hears that he's dead, and these kids are the cause of it, he's probably not going to be too pleased. He's not going to be happy with the thousands of refugees he has to deal with now, on top of them taking his maiden and his relic.
Well, okay, that is kind of going against something that was said in my chat. It was like, hopefully the headmaster at Vacuo is the only headmaster of the 4 that has his head on straight because Ospen needs to have at least one colleague to trust. And then you say this, and it's like, well,
Now,
fun.
I think that this is the one that Ospen didn't trust, and that's why he's gonna be like the cool one. Because he trusted Leo and Ironwood, they both betrayed him. This is the one he didn't trust, and that's the one who's gonna actually
Was
help.
he though? I mean,
wanna know
did he
what-
trust
what
every
David-
one of them?
Thanks about
I don't
all
know.
of this.
It could. There's a possibility. He doesn't talk a whole lot. He's very selective in what information he gives out. We literally had to get a god genie to get an answer, and then we got 30 minutes of exposition when we just wanted, like 5 minutes.
But if you think about it, Ospen said himself that the headmasters were his trusted, the people he trusts the most. So I doubt he would have chosen one headmaster he didn't trust. Because that wouldn't have made sense.
Since the global communication is down, that guy could have died of old age or a heart attack or something, and somebody new came in, and that new guy.
I don't think so. I know a little bit about the novels, and that didn't happen.
I'm just throwing stuff out that could or could not be.
Yeah, because
That's why
I feel
I
like
need
they
to
mentioned
read.
that. I haven't had a chance. I tried to read the novel, but I'm picky with my reading. The writing wasn't clicking with me, which is an issue I have. I haven't actually read the novel. I can't actually put that into words. I'm very picky with my writing. Sometimes I know when I'm reading someone why I don't like their writing, and sometimes it's like it's just not. So I tried to read the novel. I haven't finished it, but I think they talk about the headmaster of Vacuo in that novel.
I mean, I'm going to read the novels probably very soon, so if I can get you all a heads up about some info if you need it later.
Maybe.
Yeah, I haven't read it.
I love the novel, but I know why. I couldn't.
I mean,
Something about the prose is not.
If I have
working.
the novel, I'm gonna read it anyway, even if I don't really like it. So I'm gonna read through it no matter what happens. I think I only discarded 2 or 3 books in my life because I didn't like them. So, and I'm an avid reader, so yeah, that means I either like very many books or I just read through them anyways.
I also want to ask David and story fandom as a whole, what's your most disliked thing about Volume 8?
Besides Ironwood.
Besides Ironwood. Well, honestly, what about you guys? Do you have any? She pretty much, for the most part, loves the volume.
Except when Mike goes, and also we don't see Zwei a lot anymore.
Why is definitely...
So, I don't know about you guys, if you have anything, but for me, I didn't have much I didn't not like about the volume. I mean, there are always minor things when you sit there and you think about it. Sometimes certain plots or things you wonder if it's a little too convenient, stuff like that. But there's nothing glaring for me.
Yeah.
So, I'm not good for this part of the discussion. I don't really have anything I can think of that I really didn't like. Again, I don't know. You guys have anything you guys didn't like?
I do have one
Little Zwei
nitpick,
babble.
on the very start of the volume. It's just a nitpick. It's nothing like a dislike, but I feel like everyone's gonna kill me because of this. Yang's argument with Ruby at the very start, it to me it felt like Yang was being so harsh on Ruby, even though it was not direct. Anyway, it was not direct, but hearing that from your sister, who you trust the most, you can really feel that Ruby has a lot of things on her shoulder, and hearing that from your sister, that it feels like you're being blamed for the decisions that you've made, right?
Mhm.
And along the series, Ruby has been doing a lot of the decision making. but it still has like the input of everyone on the group, right? It's not just her decision. It's always going to be the group, but it feels like Yang had this blame that she has on Ruby, and that's just my feeling. And then there was one time, like on the shed, right, when Yang said, "Do you think that she feels different about me after what happened?" And John said, "Ruby will always be your sister." Oh yeah, Ruby.
Yeah.
It's just that one nitpick that I don't like, because it pains me to hear from like a big sister that you think so little of your sister, right? Like that in that kind of situation.
Yeah, I
as
almost
well.
forgot
It's like,
about that part, honestly. I think my mind just said, we're gonna ignore that.
Compared to what we got
I love Bumblebee.
afterwards, yeah.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
I put the
But-
Hufflepuff scarf as a Bumblebee scarf in Volume 6, so I mean...
Ship
I love
will never
Bumblebee.
die.
I didn't
That
take
one
that
thing.
scene that way, to be honest.
Wait, you have a Harry Potter scarf?
Of course
Yeah,
I
we were
do.
big Harry Potter.
And then the two
Hey.
pins, the Clover and Crow pins.
I sort of read that scene with Yang in the shack more like she wasn't worried about being she knew that Ruby, even though she and Ruby fought, they were still family, they were still sisters. There'd be no problem there going forward. Yeah, they argue about what they should do, but they'll be fine. And Blake siding with Ruby and not her, I think she was worried about Blake because of the Bumblebee. I never read it as I don't care about my little sister, which I can see people who do.
No. Yeah.
I always read it that Yang was like, alright, Ruby's been taking, the lead this whole time, and, sometimes it's worked, sometimes it hasn't. But recently, this was a pretty big hasn't. So Yang, in her brain, was just probably like, maybe we should just try somebody else in charge, see if that works, and if it does, cool. If it doesn't, well, we'll just go back to you.
Well, see, honestly, I do agree that it seemed a little forced, the argument in that first episode, but I think the later Shaq scene, I took differently.
Yeah.
I agree with you.
Yeah.
It kind of seemed a little unfair of Yang to be like,
Yeah.
no, you screwed up.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, but everybody screws up. And
It does, yeah.
Yeah, but also,
Which is good.
just for that, as a sibling myself, sometimes siblings are that way. Sometimes it's just like that. You just snap, and and then you just go back later to being like you were before. That's how families mostly work. I don't know if
Yeah,
everywhere,
exactly.
but I mean, it happens. So
It does.
I'm okay with it, I guess. I can get behind it if you think
Yeah,
about
I
it
understand
as
where they're
in my-
both, like, all of them are coming
Yeah.
from. It's just like the way they went about, just like, it's passable.
Yeah, that's why I love that one part with Blake and Ruby.
that
Ruby
was
says-
Oh,
a
yeah.
great scene.
And the generator, yeah.
That one scene actually let me understand what Yang was going on about, because Ruby in that moment has already been feeling that she's not making the correct decisions, like everything's not working with her on the lead, and
Mhm.
Blake was like, no, you may have not made the right decisions, but you are making decisions, and
Yeah.
you keep moving forward. And even though that you are someone who's much younger than me, you know what you do, and that's why I idolize you.
Yeah, and
That's great.
that being one of the first conversations between those two in a long, long time. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Also, it took the quiet book reader who understands literature to actually find the correct words that Yang tried to say, but
Yes.
Yang likes
Yes.
because Blake likes to sit and read. Yang likes to go punch people in the face. So of course
That
she
makes so
wouldn't
much
be
sense.
elegant in telling her feelings. So Blake is just like, I'm already part cat. I'm pretty nimble. I think I got this. See,
that's
she's
why-
already fixing like her girlfriend's issues already.
Yeah.
You nailed it right there for me, because you said that it's Blake that gives out the correct words to say. That's
Mhm.
why on the first 2 chapters, that's what I felt, that she's not Yang was not saying the correct words. That's why that is what I felt. And when Blake said it, I found I found out that she might not just be saying the correct words to say to RWBY at that time.
Yeah, Yang,
So,
Yang and Nora, be strong and
Yang
hit
and Nora.
stuff.
Yeah.
And Blake and Ren are just like, why do we hang out with these two? Because they're cute.
Because
You
we
are
love them.
correct. Yeah, that's basically it.
Yeah.
For me, Nora is not just like someone who makes funny jokes and like she makes things funnier,
Yeah,
but she makes a lot of sense.
yeah.
Yeah,
She needs-
especially
if
like
she needs to be
lately.
serious, she is serious. And there's a
Yep.
lot of like scenes like throughout the series where you can see Nora is not just someone who hits stuff. It's just in her head that she's thinking that she's
And
just that kind of person. Like
I'm really
I
curious to
understand.
see how they will go on about that, about her finding herself. I want to see that so badly.
Oh, there's a lot of stuff that needs. All right, well,
A
I
lot
think.
of character interaction stuff. Mm.
All right, is there anything anybody else didn't like, or can we go on to like theories and stuff?
Yeah, it seems like a good time to transition unless somebody else has something else into theories.
Okay, I have a theory that involves Watts and Ironwood. So, as we all know, a lot of the characters in this show are based off something in real life. And sometimes one person can be two things, like RWBY is Red Riding Hood and Dorothy. So, I was thinking, wait a second. You have a guy who's part robot, and you have a brilliant robotics engineer. Frankenstein. Watts is the doctor, and Ironwood becomes the monster. So Watts finds Ironwood, mangles him, turns him into a freaky monstrosity robot killer. But Ironwood's still there, alive, just behind it. And Watts uses him to take revenge on who he deemed wronged him. And he's gonna meet Winter. It's gonna break her heart, even though she tried to kill him and he tried to kill her. And then she's gonna mercy kill him if he's not already dead. Or they Frankenstein themselves together to survive. So it's Ironwood body, but the brain of Watts.
Oh my gosh. I mean,
Because we haven't had a Frankenstein yet, and that thing popped in my head. I'm like, oh, that could be so viable.
I mean, I like the theory. I still think they might still be really just dead. In my mind, they're dead.
If the crash didn't kill them and the water didn't kill them, Watts probably roasted alive.
Yeah.
Or suffocated.
Yeah.
And Ironwood could have lived? I don't
think
know.
he got crushed because I saw this somewhere online. I think on Instagram where they went back to the to When It Falls, the intro for Volume 3, and it's just crushed by the weight of the world. Why Ironwood is there, and it makes so much sense now.
Yeah,
It's Atlas. I mean, isn't
okay,
Atlas was the
side note,
Titan who helped the world?
The foreshadowing that this show does is insane.
Yes.
Because there's stuff in Volume 2, they're like, it's a one-off thing, then it comes up in this season, and they're like, I see. They were
Foreshadowing is
forehead
great.
Yeah.
That is because, unlike what many of the RWBY hate them naysayers say, they figured all this out between Volumes 1 and 2. They sat down and they worked out the overarching plot. So they really have been hitting that foreshadow hammer hard.
I think it was said that the 5th character ever to be designed was Salem. So I'm like, yeah, I can see that, because she's the main villain. So after the main 4, they're like, alright, it's time to make our Wicked Witch.
And then it took so long until she was finally there.
Oh yeah. And then
that's what they react to is when.
And then of course the amount of people who listen to her voice at the end of Volume 3, they're like, that sounds familiar, and then they look into the credits and then they see the name and then you say who plays it and they're like, oh my god, it's Cortana. And that screws with them. Because when I play Halo, I don't hear Cortana, I hear Salem. Because that was the first time I heard Jen Taylor's voice.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have it with Jen Taylor because I don't play Halo. Wow, I'm I'm such an
Played
idiot.
Halo as well.
So for me, it was just remembering the voice from just the narration of the beginning. I was like, I've heard that voice before. Was it in another show? And then I'm like, no, it was this show just earlier.
Just 3 years ago.
I mean, for me, it was like a week ago because I binged, but
I envy those people who start the show now
oh yeah,
because they get
get
to
the whole
enjoy
ride.
the whole thing. Like Cheryl from Sirs and Madams, this is her first hiatus.
Yeah.
And she's like, is this what people go through on a yearly basis? It's terrible.
I have
Yeah,
two
like,
friends who started the show last year when Volume 7 came out. So I just got the first hiatus of them just live.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
It's
And here's
great
the
to
thing.
see that. Just wait, what I have to wait multiple months now?
Yeah, I have to wait until October.
Oh no.
But we do have the soundtrack that does typically come out
Oh yeah.
like later. So we do have that to like tide us over.
Hmm.
I just want to add what my chat said. Avery said from Volume 2's World of Remnant, and Jen Taylor narrated them as well. And
Yeah.
the biggest thing for me about Salem is that on the very last part of Volume 3, where she said, like on the very tail end, where she said, and I'm gonna go ahead and watch. I'm
I
gonna
can't wait to
do
watch you
every-
burn.
No. There's one thing. She said, I will use every of my power to snuff it out. Like the
spark of
music
hope. Yeah.
was starting to change once she said that one. Like,
Yeah.
wait, what the fuck? What
It's
is
like,
this
first
narrator
it's like,
saying?
oh, narration, and then,
Yeah.
oh, villain.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So a prediction I have for Volume 9 is that we're either going to follow Team Ruby, Neo, and Jean wherever they are, or we're going to go to Vacuo. But we're not going to get both. Probably going to follow.
Oh,
I mean, the Krubby said that the next volume is going to be different than the ones before. So, I could see them do the whole we're following Team Ruby, Jean, and Neo down there in wherever they are, and just not
In
show anyone
Wonderland.
else. But I don't know. I kind of want them to show both because I'm like, I want to see the characters.
because if they don't, people are going to have to wait an additional year to see these characters. I mean, to
Yeah.
ensure that they're not dead, because they're just going to let it stew for many months. Like, hey, are they dead? Are they not? The show won't tell us because they're focusing on the desert.
That, yeah, that would be like.
They will have split something for it, just like
I mean,
Or
they're-
the first half is Vacuum and the second half is weird Rainbow Dimension.
They could do that stuff, yeah. They could do half-half.
Because here's
And
the
maybe,
thing, I want to.
I mean, they did.
Go ahead.
They did a lot of stuff with like in Volume 7, for example, they did like, oh, we have the last scene with Tyrion here and all that. Maybe they could just do focus on one of the storylines and then just give little glimpses at the end of episodes until we get full on into the other storyline. I mean, that would work too.
I mean, yeah, I could see that definitely happening.
Yeah, go ahead, Dave.
Sorry, I worry about that because, to be perfectly honest, I think one of the reasons why a lot of people consider Volume 4 to be one of the weaker volumes, Volume 5, is because they tried to sort of split the story, and then, of course, it turned out to not only be split in location, but literally Blake's story happening several weeks before, the rest of the
Blatantly telling.
Yeah, that is where.
So I would worry about them if they did decide to split them up, or even like just show you hints of, well, this is going on. I'm like,
That is where one other
you guys have a good track
theory,
record with this.
like a theory have not really. I mean, it could happen if they really decide on going only with the Ruby, John Neo storyline and not with the Vacuo storyline. I could see it being some sort of time goes differently here thing. that a whole lot of time passes while we are following Team RWBY and such, while in Vacuo not much time has passed.
Yeah.
I could see them make it something like that.
I had the thought that since Yang was the first one to fall into the weird parallel dimension, that she like aged a few years between then and now, and like
That it would be so much.
like a day in the real world is like a month in whatever land they're in. So Yang's been there for what, 20 minutes, 30 minutes? So she's probably been there a few years at this point. So she's probably aged and gotten kind of better.
That would be
or something.
Interesting. That
And
would
then
be
like
really interesting.
Yang walk they all arrive relatively close in time to each other. So they all like go into the weird land towards a tree. I find Yang in like a hut she built, and she's
like Robinson Crusoe stuff.
Yeah, like, and she like sees them, but she doesn't believe they're real. She thinks she's kind of like
that might
little.
definitely be a thing.
And then Blake just sees like a much more mature Yang, and she's just like. And she's just like, and then Yang just has zero interest, and it breaks Blake's heart. And I'm like, oh.
Ouch. That would be.
Yeah, that would
be very.
That would hurt so much if that was true. But I kind of want it to happen because then when they bring her out and she's in the real world, and Blake's like the only one who's trying because everyone else is just like, she's changed. She doesn't want us. Blake's like, nah. Well,
Why does this remind me so much of the Jumanji movie? Being in the jungle for a while.
Yeah, I could see that, but yeah, I could definitely see that happening. Or like,
I don't know if they will go through with that. Though. I don't know if RWBY would do that.
It would, yeah, I doubt it, but it could be cool.
That's how fanfictions exist.
Exactly. That one as well. Just to address some of the one on my chat, IMAX5Max94. What is RWBY? RWBY is an online show made by Rooster Teeth. It is an online animation, which is really, really good. So if you haven't watched it, I don't want to describe it to you because there's going to be a lot of spoilers in my description. So my suggestion is go watch RWBY. It's great. It's already on Volume 8. Exactly. It's already on Volume 8. So you don't have to worry about skipping a lot of stuff or waiting for a lot of stuff, and just watch it, binge it, and it's really great. So I highly recommend you do that. All right. And also, Avery said, sorry. They did the split teams up again in Volume 8 and made it actually work well.
Yeah, because it was happening at the same time.
Yeah, it was happening at the same time, and it was pretty much interconnected. And
it was just like the difference
with the whole
between
thing going on.
It's like having two. It's like, all right, I'm gonna go to this place, and you're gonna go to this place, and we're gonna just keep texting updates on what's going on. That's basically what happened because they're both like right there, just doing different things.
Yeah.
So that time it worked.
It's not the same. Exactly. It's not just being on the other side of the world, not knowing what the other's doing all the time.
And then Volume 5 continued that, and then at one point after Blake burned down her house, Gyara's just like, we still have a few weeks before the attack on Mistral, and then we cut back. But then immediately cut to the attack on Mistral, literally like 10 seconds afterwards. That was the only way we could have. That was the moment, like, oh, wait, what? This was like months ago? Okay, that would have been neat to know.
Yeah, it was. It was difficult to kind of.
Because they just made one offline.
Yeah.
Like in like the last 3 episodes of 5. And then they just showed up, and they, besides Ilya and Bike and Sun, they didn't really do a whole lot. They just kind of stood there.
Yeah. Rosalie is saying, I think there's a quote from Carrie somewhere, maybe pre or during Volume 7, like, yeah, we're definitely going to Vacuo at some point, just don't be surprised if there's a detour first. So we might not get the Vacuo stuff
Wonderland
for a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Either way, we're gonna
Yeah.
get Neverland, and we're gonna get tons of character development and lore, probably, or we're gonna have
Well,
Vacuo,
true.
which is just gonna be more geopolitical crap and pain.
I really want to go full on.
Uh,
Like, I want them to go full on World Tree. I want a cussing squirrel, and I
Well-
want all the shenanigans.
Yeah, I bet there's like this like old man or some sort of like entity that exists there, and it like one of those things where like I'm gonna show you like your worst fear, and you have to conquer it, or else you will never leave. It's gonna be like or something like that, or he's gonna like do something to mess with the minds of these people in order for them to like be better versions of themselves, or something stupid like that.
I don't know.
Well,
no, please, no Norse, please. Or yours, sorry. Anyways,
Oh God, why did you have to
Oh.
mention that?
Oh gosh, no.
Why?
we're not talking about that. Maybe later, okay? I do have a theory about that as well with regards to the other world that that everyone has been talking about recently. Because for me, because Yang said on his on when they were talking with Ambrosius, right, that we needed a nexus for the nexus for the portals itself.
Mhm.
And Yang said, do it in a place like this, because this place where the relics are located is not a part of Remnant, or kind of like is not part of Remnant. So when they fell, it seems like they fell to the nexus of the what do you call
Vaults?
this, the vaults. Yes, the nexus to the vault instead. So that's why there's a tree in there. And if you check all of the vaults, right, the lamp itself, the lamp which is supposed to be the key for it is spring, right? But it's in a desert.
Yep.
The staff is
In-
the key for it is winter, but it's on a meadow,
Uh-huh.
right? So if you try to interconnect everything, right, it kind of looks like it's a place. But if you try to go inside the vault and just go straight, maybe you'll end up in somewhere on the other vaults, right? And what I was
Maybe.
thinking, maybe they'll get out through the vault of the Sword of Destruction, and they just destroy the vault itself, like the vault door.
They just pick up the sword and just break that door down. And like, no need
Well,
for
they
a
have-
maiden.
They have to talk with the Guardian first, or the
Ooh, I'm
the-
curious what kind of personality the Destruction would have, because
Yeah.
we had Jin, who's like, I'm all-knowing, and I have like this air of superiority. Ambrosius, I love to create. And then there's just gonna be like, I just destroy things.
Yeah.
I'm leaning towards a tsundere, to be honest.
No,
Good
Yana
idea.
can,
Probably and happy to destroy.
Have you watched Tower of God
Nope.
before? Okay. Well, there's a sword that doesn't want to be handled by girls. She just wants to be handled by a boy. So basically, it's kind of like that. Like
Okay.
she doesn't want to be used by there's like limitations on how she's gonna be
Okay.
used, because it's a sword of destruction. So there should be like some kind of limitation to it, just kind
Yeah.
of like
Yeah. If
how the other things have imposed limitations to them, right?
or
I'm
like it has
thinking-
like rules. It says like it cannot
Yeah.
kill living things, but it can like destroy like buildings and create
Or
like
it could be-
earthquakes and stuff.
It could be a picky entity. It's
Or
simple
it
as
could
that.
literally just be like, alright, if you want me to destroy something, I will, but you have to specify what you want destroyed,
That's
how you
Ambrosius
want it to be
already.
destroyed. Yeah, that's the big thing. That's
already
how all of them
But,
work. They're all genies.
Rain, to what you
So work
said,
to
to what you said, Rain, it was like I think I read something where it was like the other way around, a sword that could only be used by girls and stuff.
By girls.
Yeah, I read that somewhere. I don't even remember where, but I kind of like the like there's limitations who can use it, and it would be so interesting if none of the people that fall down there could like do it because the limitations just
You're You're correct on that one, Scar. That the lamp has almost the same specification as the staff, the real limitations of the lamp is that it can only be used 3 times. That's the real
Mhm.
limitation
Yeah.
of it, right?
Yep.
And the staff, you have to be specific. You have to be very specific about it.
And
Really
you can only have one
Yeah,
thing
that's
to
the thing.
step
One
Okay.
thing
focus on.
every
The
time.
lamp, there are 2 limitations to both of them. The first, the lamp, only 3 times 100 years. The staff, only one thing at a time. And then we have the whole thing about you can not ask about the future and all that. You can
That
only
one.
ask
Yeah.
about the past
Yeah.
and present. And then we have the limitations of being like detailed and having to be specific. I think that the others will also have like some sort of limitations that fall into the same categories.
Yeah,
Because it makes
because
sense.
all of the relics have genies, borderline. Because they're like, yo, you have to say exactly word for word what you want.
That
because-
went wrong.
Because, like, why aren't there any railings? You didn't ask. It's that. Why wasn't this done? You did not ask, well, I did not do it.
Yeah.
That's how it's gonna go. And someone is gonna, like, be rational, use the sword in the vaguest way possible, and a lot of things are gonna end up being torn down.
Yeah, okay.
It could
I got
also,
the...
we could also work in a sacrifice system. Like, I can destroy anything you want, but then you have to pay a cost. You have
It's like
to
the
leave
Soul
something
Stone
to
in
leave
Infinity
someone.
War.
Oh no.
Yeah.
No, I just got it in the chat. Just if you want to use the sword, you have to describe it like in a D&D campaign how you want to use it.
Yeah.
Seeing as I play in a lot of D&D campaigns lately, I would love that.
Yeah, I feel like I feel like RWBY as a whole, didn't they do a RWBY D&D thing
Yes.
on Rooster Teeth? And I'm
Yeah,
like,
they
yes, that has like really cool like object because RWBY is a ranger or a rogue, Blake is a ranger or a rogue, Weiss is like a sorceress, Yang's a brawler or a monk probably. John is a paladin or a cleric.
Yeah,
Nora's
I
a
mean,
barbarian.
I think the most of them you have to like see as multi-class or something, because Yang
Oh, yeah,
I would see as
definitely
like a
multi-class.
monk barbarian multi-class because she has the whole rage thing going on, for example.
Oh yeah, the rage. RWBY could be ranger rogue, and Blake is
Probably.
just pure rogue though.
Yeah,
Pure rogue.
she's the
And then
assassin.
Weiss is. Okay, I can't remember which magic one does the whole summoning thing in D&D. Is it sorcerer?
I don't know about the summoning thing, but I would
But
say just
she's
from her
definitely
origin.
a magic archetype.
From the origin, I would say she's a sorceress, because sorcerers are like the ones that like inherit the magic and all that. So that would just fit perfectly into her story.
Yeah, so she's definitely one of the magic people.
Of course.
John's a paladin / cleric, which is obvious.
Yeah.
Nora is barbarian
Right now, this is the last match.
or warrior, maybe. I'm not entirely sure about that one.
Yeah,
Ren,
Nora's-
Ren, I could see being a monk. Really?
would work with the meditation.
Yeah, I could definitely see it. And then Pyrrha is dead, so she doesn't matter. It's been 6 years. If you still get upset over it, come on.
No, I don't get upset over it. I just thought it was brilliant. Like, she doesn't
I mean,
matter.
I have that meme of the Dark Souls bonfire lit as she like disintegrates. I have that meme and I post it like almost weekly just to remind people, hey, this is funny now. Because it is. It's so accurate.
Yeah,
I just
But
want to
act-
read some of the. Yeah. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
No, I'm done.
Well, Avery says Salem mentioned in Volume 4 or 5 when Tyrion was talking about poisoning Crow, the last eye is blinded. Odin's
Yeah.
eyes, Hugin and Munin, Ravens,
Yeah.
I believe,
Yeah.
Oz gave Raven and Crow the ability to turn into birds to be
Yeah.
his eyes and ears.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Odin
So,
with
yeah.
his 2 birds. Yeah, so like in that scenario, Ozpin is Odin.
yeah, and that
Osmond is
scenario,
Odin,
Osmond is Odin.
Mhm.
Yeah, because Raven turned away, she was the first blinded eye, and
Oh, wait. I just had a thought. Have we had our Loki yet?
I don't think so.
Oh, imagine if there's like a Loki who like pretends to be a helpful thing, was actually like a mischievous little bastard. That'd be
I
great.
mean,
That could be Neo as well,
yeah,
to be honest.
I would just
Oh,
wanted to
Neo.
say that because
Exactly,
Neo
yeah.
can turn into other people, and that is
Oh,
something
right.
Loki did.
That
Ooh,
Loki
yeah.
does, yeah.
She's Mary Poppins and Loki. That's
Yeah,
two very
that would be
polarizing
great.
things.
I mean,
She's a Loki
if you
Mary
think about it,
Poppins, right?
Mary Poppins
Loki.
is not a villain. Mary Poppins is
Well,
a
in the
very
book
nice
she is. In the book, she straight up threatens to like kill these kids
Yeah,
if
but
they
you
don't
know,
do what she wants.
it's not the personality is like not what we see Neo
Yeah,
having. So having her be Loki would be interesting.
Yeah.
I wanna raise a question to all of you guys. Who has expected Raven to come to this volume?
Yeah, she's coming back. She doesn't really have much of a choice. She tied her fate to the end.
Now in volume 8,
Oh, in 8, yeah, I was fully expecting to like cut to like Raven, and all of a sudden she like feels that connection she has with Yang gets severed, and she tries to like use her portal but doesn't, and then breaks down crying. That's what I was expecting to see. But like warp the Tai Yang and just cry and just shoulder where he's just sitting there like, why am I here?
Before we
I full on
was expecting.
expected her to show up and save Yang.
Yeah. Yeah.
Before we went into the whole we can use the staff to create portals to evacuate everyone, I was like expecting Raven to be like part of, hey, make a portal, evacuate people. That's kind of what I was expecting for a while, but then we did the whole staff thing, so I was like, okay, maybe we don't need that right now.
Plus, Raven can only make portals to people that she makes a link to. So unless she plans to alpha all those refugees at Tai Yang's house, yeah, not really that useful.
like
But
before they get to the portal, do you think had you had this idea that Raven will come before they actually had the idea to use the staff?
I had a feeling that
Because
she
they did put up like a global news, right? So
yeah, but
I'm sure she
does-
caught it.
But here's the thing: that only people with scrolls and like computers got it. I don't think Raven has a phone or technology out in her little camp, so she probably didn't see it.
The problem is
Yeah.
she knows a lot of things because she's
True.
a bandit, and she usually
Yeah.
information for a bandit is actually really useful. That's why she knows a lot of things, right?
Or
It's impossible
could have
for me to
been
understand that she does not get
or
that.
she could have been outside the window of Tai Yang's house when the broadcast
Probably.
popped up on TV and just happened to
She
see
could
it.
have been.
Because,
Sure.
Raven really likes to stalk her ex-husband for some reason. Even though they never got divorced, so they're still technically married.
I didn't
Now
think
that
they
you
were
raised that, yeah.
Yeah! They're still technically married. That's the funny part.
I didn't think they got married. I always thought that they had.
Oh, even
maybe
if
it's
they
my head
aren't,
canon.
she still stalks him on a regular basis.
Yeah, I always figured the way it worked was that they were together. Then she got pregnant. She had Yang, and then she disappeared, and he kind of was completely abandoned and didn't know what to do. And Summer probably had already had feelings for him, so she kind of stepped in
How do we
and
know
started.
they
Well, because
Yeah,
well,
and then
we don't know that she's married. Though.
and then kick the bucket, so to speak.
'Cause I think they've talked about that.
Oh, can we talk about how Salem basically kidnapped civil-eyed people now and turns them into Grimm? Can we talk about that?
We can talk about that.
Because when I saw that was a dude, I was like, wait, that's why he can talk. Then it did the close-up, I was like, oh, his eye color.
Honestly, the first time I saw that episode, I didn't notice the eye color. I was just like, oh, that's a faunus.
Yeah,
That
I was
was
just
my
like, oh,
first
look,
reaction.
faunus, because, animal Grimms are based off animals. I can see that. And I was like, oh, that's why he can talk, because it's part person. Then I looked and I was like, it's got gray eyes.
No,
Huh.
it's silver. No,
Because
I only
apparently
caught
there's
that in
like
editing.
there's like a detail in the animation of like little like white lines in the iris or something that determines if it's actually silver eyes, and he had them. So I'm like, so this dude was just found by one of Salem's cronies, kidnapped, and then like experimented on, and like had like basically Venom, borderline Venom, like symbiote, just attached to this person and grew over. But he's still kind of there, and it took tremendous damage to reveal that.
Yeah,
I'm
I mean,
like, yeah, that's.
I had once told a theory that I'd want to see come true, where there would be these creepy
Whoa.
porcelain doll grins. They look like they were humans, and they each have like a unique porcelain doll kind of face and like bones and spikes and everything. But to have one like after Ruby, like, and like it keeps hunting them, and like you see it from its perspective, and it keeps hunting them, and they keep fighting, and they finally beat it, and they blast off and have that be.
Yeah.
And like completely unaware,
I like that.
and like.
Tall
She
thing
had like, trapped in a world of nightmares inside her own mind as the Grim then fed off of her soul and her aura.
Since that Faunus was like a fox.
He was a Faunus, yes.
Well, like a fox specifically. Or a dog or something else.
It was round ears, so it was rounded, so it's definitely not a fox. Because a fox has like pointy ears.
I don't remember,
like
but
canine creature.
It's round.
But maybe Faunus that are transformed be animal Grim, and some are much more like an apathy, much more humanoid looking.
This
Probably,
is giving
okay.
me the creeps already just thinking about it.
I mean, there's plenty of like Grim summer fan art. My favorite one is just like a Grim that's like the Geist, but has a giant scythe for a hand. And I'm like, yes.
Yeah.
My brain wrote all this stuff. It wrote a whole thing where Jean gets infected by the same thing that makes people into the Grim kind of things, and he's getting turned into a human Grim porcelain doll thing, and he's in the darkness, and he's like breaking down and sobbing, and then the ghost of Pierre shows up, and says, I'm here for you, and he's able to reach out to Ruby with his powers and boost her silver eyes, and she frees. It's a whole thing. My brain just runs in circles with writing the stuff sometimes.
Our theories just went full on horror movie right now.
I mean,
Don't worry, my theory.
Let's be real. The episode where the Hound was in the Schnee Matter was totally an alien movie. There's no way about it. It's an alien movie.
That makes sense.
Climbing on the walls, the green like acid blood all over the place. It's an alien movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, the scene where Blake saw the visage.
Oh,
of
the window. Oh, that was such a good shot. That's screenshot worthy right there.
Oh my god.
It's so good.
That
The fact that the
was-
Hound, also, the Hound not having eyes makes a whole lot of sense now. Because if his eyes were like able to actually see, he could like burn it off, or they'd like notice. So she purposely made the thing like blindish, and
It's
that's
kind of
like,
like the Grim Mask.
yeah.
Okay. Well, I hate to say for us, it's bedtime for Clara. So we're going to have you guys keep going, keep streaming. The call will keep going. We're going to have to duck out. I'm so sorry.
It's alright, David. I'm so sorry.
Good
We've been talking a
night.
lot as well.
No, look, this has been good. We haven't contributed a ton because I guess we haven't. But you guys keep going. Everyone who's watching, thank you from us. Thank you guys for being here.
Yeah,
Going for volume.
whoever's watching on the end of Story Fandom can, like, I don't know, join up.
I don't think we actually have any viewers this exact second. We've had 1 to 3 this entire stream, and it's not been a terribly active
it's
stream
like-
for us. But that's all right.
In between
That's not why we're
3 and 8 for me, usually at the 5 mark.
Yeah. Right as the stream started, I got a message from my friend. I was like, "Hey, buddy, nice stream." And I'm like, "How do you know?" It was just in the YouTube recommended. So there's at least 8 of them. Actually, 1 is watching the stream, live streaming it through Discord to 8 other people. So technically, you have like a dozen people watching you because they're my friends watching for me.
Well, no, let's thank you guys. You guys go ahead and keep
Thank
going.
you,
Thank you,
thank you.
everyone.
Thank you for the invite, David. Thank you.
Or morning in one
Bye-bye.
case here.
Bye
Good
bye.
night.
Bye bye. Good night. Good night, baby.
Oh, yeah.
Oh god.
It's 3:30 now.
Yeah, it's
9:35 for
9:30
me, so
here.
Okay. 9:35 a.m. So
Yeah,
I
it's
can still-
9:30 p.m. here, so there's a good difference between us.
I
We're
just
real
want
fans.
to acknowledge some of the chats as well. Thank you so much to everyone who is currently on the chat. I really am sorry if I'm not interacting so much because, of course, we want to, give out
We
all of
all
the-
are very invested in this show, and
Exactly.
ergo we
We
talk a lot
are.
about it.
Yeah, exactly. You can always put everything that you want to ask on the chat. I will try my best to give it out as well to everyone who is currently in the call right now, so
Yeah.
we can still move on with.
It's the
with
same
the show
to
itself.
everyone watching here. If you have questions, just ask them. We will do our best to answer with our opinions. But
Yep.
do know, those are our opinions.
Yep.
Yeah,
let's see.
and please understand. Yeah, those are just
Yeah.
opinions. So it's not it's not the truth. If,
No.
it didn't happen
It's
on the
subjective.
show itself.
Yeah.
Right. It's very subjective. So please understand.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do we have any more theories or such?
I actually have a theory about the hound itself because since the thing that caught my eye is not just the silver eyes, but it's a faunus,
Mm-hmm.
and the silver eyes is not something that is inherent to just humans, right?
Yeah.
It's also something that a faunus can have, and
Mhm.
I'm thinking that maybe there could be a tribe of silver-eyed people living together that are both humans and faunus, so they can be the embodiment of like unity for Remnant. So if
Ooh.
something, for example, if Salem was able to summon the gods, the only hope that they can have is unity, right? So
Mhm.
that they will not, or Remnant will not get destroyed. So I'm thinking that Ruby can be the beacon of hope because she is always gonna. She
Beacon.
has been, exactly. She has been this one single soul that is full of hope, and she's a silver-eyed warrior as well. And if she can
Mhm.
learn from this tribe how to unify people, then that will be great, especially between faunus and humans. And I'm thinking that this place where they're going has a tribe of silver-eyed warriors.
That might be
as well.
interesting.
Or it's like
Right.
a
They fled.
special.
Like
Or
they
it's like
fled from
a,
Salem or something.
Instead of the
Mhm.
normal place where people die when silver-eyed warriors die, this is where they go.
No,
it's
yeah,
like,
it's a
it's like a
normal-
Valhalla of like silver-eyed people.
I mean, it
'Cause
would
that-
make
or
sense
it-
if we have the world tree now. It would make sense to like bring in something more from Norse mythology.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Just-
it would make sense. Like about
I'm gonna be completely honest. When Volume 7 came out and we had Saber-Tooth Tiger Grim, I'm like, one step closer to a dinosaur. Come on, give me a raptor, give me a T-Rex. I would kill to have a T-Rex Grim, because that thing would wreck house. Any
There's a-
dinosaur would wreck house, let's be real.
There's a group that looks
But-
like a velociraptor, right?
Yeah, that weird
Yeah,
pterodactyl looking thingy.
Pterodactyl, yeah.
Yeah, that's like borderline, but I want like a proper like pack of raptors with the claw. I want like a full-on T-Rex, or maybe like,
Or
or like a weird like hybrid
Go
monstrosity.
Full on Jurassic Park, Jurassic World on that.
Oh yeah. Here's the thing: we're
Oh,
going to the desert soon, and so there's two Grimm that were in volumes 1 through 3 that we haven't seen since, and they're two very, very big and powerful: the King Taijutsu and the Deathstalker. I want to see
Yeah.
them again.
Those, yeah. Desert
'Cause-
seems like a very good like setting.
Also, like the boars, I could love to see them again.
Tusks.
Like, what were those little like two-legged guys? What are they called?
Which
I don't
ones?
think they had the little two-legged guys. They were very small, had a little stubby tail. They just had two little legs, and that was it. They were in like volumes 1 and 2. I think that's what they're called. The little buggers.
Yeah, Avery said creeps.
Yeah, and that's like, okay. I'm trying to think. Here's the thing: we saw that poster of a Grim Shark, which means those exist.
Oh, those exist.
And I
Something
really
like that.
want to see like a hammerhead Grimshark because I think that would just be funny because it just smashes into things.
All right, so we're talking now about interesting ring creations, and in my chat was just a friend of mine is in there, and we talked, and I was writing "behold," and I wrote "behold" instead, and I was like, and we were just, no, it's not a Beowulf, but maybe make a beholder Grim.
Oh God,
Like Grim, like a
that's
big.
that's next. That's basically like if a bunch of seers got together.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like
exactly.
yeah.
Because so far, for the most part, excluding the seers, they've all been animal based,
Yes.
except the apathy, of course.
Well, the seers are kind of jellyfish.
Yeah, jellyfish,
So-
and the apathy are just like kind of vaguely human, but for the most part, they've stuck to the whole animal thing.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
but we've also had like a bunch of mythical stuff, so it wouldn't be out of the realms of possibilities of getting
I mean,
dinosaurs.
we had the Knuckleavy, which is
And Navi?
A freak.
the
Oh,
yeah.
no, wait, Medusa Grim.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I would. Oh, that'd be terrifying. Just giant snake lady. Ugh.
Ooh.
Exactly.
You could
What I
do
wanna-
so
what-
much.
What I want to see more on the upcoming seasons of RWBY are wildlife. I want to
Yeah.
see normal wildlife.
That's not
'cause no one
birds.
wants to see dogs, birds. Have you seen any cats before?
No,
No.
or fish.
We
We've
haven't-
literally only seen birds and Zwei, and that's
And
it.
Yeah,
dogs.
that's
Why, yeah.
that's all.
Actually,
So-
we saw deers and wolves in the world Remnant
Penguins.
about Grim. Oh yeah, penguins.
Penguins.
Yeah, there's penguins. Yeah, I forgot.
In the tundra.
Yeah.
Right.
So I think in the world of Remnant about Grim, it stated that the Grim don't need to kill and eat things; they choose to. And I'm like, ah. Also, those world of Remnants were totally designed to placate us until Volume 6 and the lore drop. That was their whole purpose. They're a lie that Salem and Osmond told others so that the truth wouldn't come out. Then the truth came out, and just like, oh, I see. And it was just like to placate us like we were actually in the world. I see how you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Also
they,
the fact
they
that-
did it pretty well in that regard.
Also, the fact that dust is the magical remains of the first human civilization, which means the Shiny Dust Company is death dealers, quite literally.
Basically,
Did they
yes.
confirm
They're-
that?
They're dealing
Yeah.
with corpses.
Well, It's
I mean,
not
it makes
confirmed,
sense.
but I'm heavily basing because of the fact
I mean-
that dust didn't exist until afterwards.
Yeah, it's either
And I highly doubt that these things just appeared. Also,
I mean-
the fact that the gods, by mistake, created evolution because they killed everybody, and then humans and faunas evolved, so they created evolution. I think that's just funny.
that's
I like a
interesting.
side note.
But,
No. I think they
Either
know
it's-
it's the god of life.
either it's the dust of the humans that live there, or it's like from the moon because like the pieces of
Or
the
like,
moon fall.
yeah, weird. It could be
Like,
alien moon rocks.
Any of that. Like those two things are like the only explanations I could think of for dust. So yeah.
There's two reference for that. One was Crow's story where he said on the story of the two brothers, life always comes back, and then the god of light on volume 6 when he was talking to Ozma, take heed that your kind will come back. He just not specified how, but he knows it will come back because the world itself is an experiment, right?
Yeah.
So
Hmm.
now what I want to know is how they created the first human. That will basically give us like a bit of a hint how the second humans formed as well.
Well,
Because
because either they both left and bailed, then the god of light was just like, no, I'm gonna come back, meddle with some things minorly, then leave again, or he brought Ozma back just as, because I don't know how time works and wherever the hell they are, but it could be that whatever magic residue was left over, like literally sparked, like a being that created humans and Faunus, but Faunus were like an accident, or better yet, Faunus were the original, but humans were like a weird genetic deformality, but they just kept going up because they didn't have the animal bits holding them down or whatever. That would be kind of funny. And like I guess funny to the real race or whatever.
Oh no.
But
Evolution.
yeah.
Because
Also,
remember in the story as well of the two brothers, right? But they are the first humans were the creation of the god of light and the god of darkness combined together because they have the choice to choose either darkness and light. That's why they had magic, because it was the gift of the god of darkness. So I was thinking that if dust really came from the remains of humans, maybe the remains as well of the first humans got into like maybe like a single-celled organism, and then they evolved into something that has no magic but has semblance instead.
Yeah, because I'm pretty sure because whatever magical discharge was left after the Thanos snap, which is what it was.
Basically,
The
yes.
Thanos snap
Probably
was
like
one half.
Yeah, it was worse.
Eradication.
well, he just did it twice there. And it wasn't
But
even a
one
snap. He
half
just
of how
crushed his
he-
claw.
Half this 1/4 if he did it twice.
Yeah, I mean, it just doesn't add up.
Whatever. You get what I'm
Exactly.
saying.
yeah, go ahead.
And so whatever, because all that magic was shot at him. Then he gathered it up in a little ball, and then he squeezed it. Then it exploded. I'm thinking that whatever that was, he added to it to make it like that, and whatever weird magic residue was left was probably because the magic was still probably it's a bit like radiation. I'm like attributing that magic was like radiation, and it just stayed there for a while, and the things that like evolved around it kind of gained some of it. That's where aura and semblances came from. But of course, over the many years, it's been diluted into what we get now, which is like a genetic thing.
That makes sense, I guess.
That makes sense, yeah.
I got a question here. What would your top 3 Grimms in terms of spook factor be?
Necrophy, Necrophy first, because it has killing power, on top of just being durable. Apathy, because of what they can do. Not essentially dangerous in and about themselves, it's just what they can do is the worst part. And third, probably a Geist, given how he can just literally just take a mountain and then become a living mountain that wants to punch you.
Okay.
As we've seen many times.
For me, it's the third one will be Nuclavy, the second one will be the Apathy, and the first one will be the Seer.
Ooh, yeah,
This-
these are creepy.
Okay,
It looks like it can't fight.
Yeah,
but
it looks
can
all
get
like
you up.
defenseless.
yeah.
Yep,
Like-
it looks like it's defenseless, but
In the first episode of Volume
Lionheart died.
5, when like Salem grabbed Lionheart's neck and dragged that needle so close to his face, I was like, oh yeah, this thing can
To his
will still
eye,
kill you.
by
Oh
the
yeah,
way.
like it's like right
Yeah.
there, and she's like, don't forget the things I can do to you. I was like, yes.
yeah, she did a lot of things. He got poked a lot. By the
Yeah.
way,
Yeah.
he got hold.
Also, the
And
fact
also
that
the
Watt was like,
sounds.
"Hello, Cinder. Can you hear me? Can you see me? All right. Well, for all you can see." I'm like, "Damn."
Burn.
So technically, the roast he gave on the building
Yeah.
was his second one.
I mean,
how
he
about you,
already
Allie?
roasted her in the beginning of Volume 4, honestly.
Yeah.
Well, I don't.
Yeah,
Watt's
yeah.
never liked Cinder anyway, so
Yeah, but yeah,
Yeah,
I'd agree
Allie.
with you about like Nuclavy, Apathy, and yes, the Seer, because those sounds. The first time I heard that, it
Oh, like
haunted
the-
me
the
in my
gurgle
dreams.
noises?
Clicking sound. Like
Those
that.
Yeah.
clicking sounds were just. ugh.
It reminds you of the zombies from The Last of Us, the clickers.
never
If you
played
if
that.
you play that game.
Nope.
Never played that game? Okay.
No.
I've
well,
never
Maybe
owned a
Maybe in the
console.
future, but
I've only ever owned a PC, so
Yeah, that's my problem too. I owned a console, but like a PS2 and an Xbox
have the PS2
360. So it's like the earlier stuff. And after that, it was
Alright.
just PC.
Alright, so I've always been curious. What are the limitations on what kind of animal faunus can be? because if like a faunus can be like a bear and have claws, or a cat and have a tail, and as we saw, they can be something like a spider that just shoots webs. Can they be something like a frog with a tongue or legs?
Probably.
Can they be
Yeah.
something like a gecko and get their limb cut off but grow it back?
Yeah.
I mean, yes,
Yeah.
because in the world of Remnant on Faunus, Crow said he saw a Faunus regenerate his tail.
Yeah, all right.
We
But
got
it's like-
A
that.
faunus, because the description of a faunus is a human that has an animal
One
trait.
animal
It
feature.
doesn't have to follow the animal traits per se. but
Okay.
It just has
The
to have
whole
one.
one animal trait thing. Is that accurate? Because if we go back to Volume 6 with that crazy crocodile lady, she had the teeth and the scale, so wouldn't that technically be
Wasn't
two
that
traits?
I mean,
Wasn't that Screw?
yeah,
Like Screw?
I think she made the teeth thing herself.
Yeah. It's
Okay.
a
Did
Screw.
is she like Jaws from James Bond, just shoved the bear trap in her jaw?
I mean,
Yeah, basically.
there are also some like characters in fandoms and stuff who just make their teeth weird. That's just how people do it
But
sometimes.
then
but the
Blake
scales are her
has-
trade.
Blake has her ears plus the night vision.
The night
so that's-
vision is separate. The night
How?
vision is separate.
They have to have.
Is that just like a
physical
generic
trait.
faunus thing?
Yeah, they have
think
to have
it
a physical
is.
trait and a skill of that animal, basically.
So like an outward physical one, but like
Outward
an inward
physical?
anatomical one.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah.
I guess.
Interesting.
Like,
Interesting. I'm trying to think of like animals that would be cool to see that we have.
I want to see a swan faunus with wings that look like angel wings. Like I've made
yeah,
an
if,
OC once
if
like
a
that.
faunus has wings, can they fly?
Yes,
Because
we
they
saw
need
Yuma
much
fly.
bigger wings to support something. Because we had Bat Boy,
Yeah.
Volume 5. He had wings. He didn't fly. He just glided.
But we did have the whole talk about a messenger going overseas and him being the one intercepting that. So
True.
I really think like that's 99% sure
But
that
I
he
think
flew and did that.
his wings didn't look enough to support somebody of his size, because they look like they were just like attached to like his arms and not like his back.
It was
I
his
think-
back. It was his back.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't remember.
It was attached to his back. But I mean, just look at bumblebees. They have very little wings for their bodies. And they
That's true.
kind of barely can lift
Well-
off.
they can zoom around. To be honest,
Yeah.
they're fast
Yeah.
flyers.
I mean,
Shit,
it's possible
that
for
ship
nature.
doesn't need wings. It has all the fuel it needs.
I just want to acknowledge Avery. She said, "Well, we've seen spiders, fish, bats, etc. Crow talked about seeing, like what you said, the frog faunus. She might have filled her teeth, the crocodile one with screws, like
Yeah.
I said. And also because the scales were for real, but teeth can be filled down. Yeah, exactly.
True.
Yeah.
And night vision isn't an animal trait," she said.
Yeah, but well, because normal people don't have night vision, but some
Don't have
animals
night
do. So that's just like a weird thing. But it's not like a typical faunus thing, because if it was, Mero could use it, but he can't because he's a
No,
dog.
Meryl is a dog.
Yeah, because
Yeah,
I
dogs
don't
don't
think
have
dogs
night vision.
have. They don't.
Cats
They have
do,
great
and that's
vision.
like the weird thing
Yeah.
about it.
Yeah, I think that's a question that has to be kind of addressed.
Also,
That's
we
something-
never
Yeah.
really got confirmation on what faunus Gira is, because we got the claws, and that's really it. I assume he's like a panther.
I assume
some
he's a
kind.
panther because of the Jungle Book illusion of Bagheera.
Yeah, I'm pretty
yeah.
sure it's a panther.
Bagheera,
But
yeah.
does that mean Blake is a panther and not just a normal cat?
I
That's a
don't
good
know.
question.
Honestly,
Because panthers
yeah,
have the rounded ears.
But- yeah, that's like the question because honestly, you would think that her parents are the same animal because she is the same animal, and usually if you have faunus of different animals, something random comes out. So
I just had the thought that
technically
Blake
they must
is.
be the same.
Yeah,
I just had the thought that freaking Blake is like the liger, lion, tiger, liger. That's what she is. Now I'm just thinking Blake with like a lion mane, but it's like striped, and it's just really funny to me.
It's like a dominant recessive trait, right?
Probably,
Wherein
yeah.
you take in the most dominant trait of your parents, so I guess they
I
can.
guess that means Callie wears the
dominant
pants in that
trait?
relationship.
Yep.
I mean, yeah. Have you seen
I mean,
her?
she bashed that dude in the back of the head with a tray, like Indiana Jones style, and then
Yeah.
proceeded to shoot like 3 guys with like a little pistol.
Like, forget frying pans. Trays are now the number one
Yeah,
utensil
you
for
don't mess
hitting
with
people.
moms, especially like human moms are bad enough, but like you threaten like an animal and their kids, you combine both of them. That's like ultra mom, like ultra instinct,
Yeah.
like full on like, ugh.
Now we've talked about a lot of things in the volume. We haven't talked about the opening song.
Oh yeah, like the
Oh, yeah.
foreshadowing of the opening. and stuff.
Imagine, because the first line where they said, "We said goodbye to all the things we love,"
Time to say goodbye,
It-
illusion. Yeah.
and yeah, on every other song there's also like "Time to say goodbye" as well.
Mhm.
Like
Yeah.
there's a lot of things in, like the little things as well, like Cinder walking and then everything just slows down is a call out to her using
The
the
staff.
staff.
Well, the lamp, because the
using-
lamp.
or
And the
using
lamp.
the lamp.
Or the lamp.
Exactly.
I don't know if the
Um,
staff freezes time.
It does.
Exactly.
We've seen that. We've
Oh, yeah, it
seen that they talked a lot, and it was still the same time.
So
for the
if
others.
so then going back to the relics, if the sword can like create, what if like the sword doesn't actually like destroy things, it just creates things that can destroy, like the sword creates natural disasters in areas. What if that's what it does?
Or it can transform it to a different kind of matter.
Or like, yeah, you can like, hey, see that rock? That rock is now lava.
Matter cannot be destroyed, only transformed to a different kind one. Like
Mhm.
something like that.
I mean,
Like energy can't be destroyed, it can only be displaced.
Yeah, exactly. But this one is matter. There's another one where Penny flies in the middle of the like when they were together, right?
Mm.
She flew over to the center instead of them. She's facing the Team RWBY instead of facing the monsters.
Yeah.
And I think this is a homage to chapter 12 Risk, where she was full blown like already trying
Yeah.
to get out, and everyone was holding her as well, and that's really subtle right there.
the foreshadowing
another
was
one.
great in that intro.
It was. It's kind of like I thought it was just gonna be like something emotional or metaphysical, but it's
Nope, it's literal.
very literal.
Yeah.
It's very literal.
And then
To,
you got that shot with Salem with
following.
both relics in her eyes, and it's
The
like, yeah, she does get both of them.
Yeah.
She does get both of them
It
exactly.
is.
Them falling as well.
Yep.
It's very literal.
Literal.
Crescent Rose being embedded in the ground.
The
That
most
one as
literal
well?
of them all.
Oh my god.
Here's
Ironwood
another
on
thing.
the chessboard and all of it flinging
Checkmate.
away.
Oh, I want to talk
Cinder's
about that
last
as well,
word
'cause
to
there's
him.
something big I want to talk about it. Happy ever after, happy never again
Yeah.
for Penny. And Penny, because
Aw.
Penny was the one who was on that side, right? Happy ever after because she was able to feel that one, that you know,
Mhm.
she was able to live out
Yeah.
what she wanted, right?
Do hugs
with her
always
friend.
feel this good?
Exactly.
That
And
line,
then-
that line was
God.
like, oh, you poor baby.
and happy never again because she died.
Okay,
So
I wanna-
technically this was just
It's
I mean
both
and
correct.
then
Okay,
friend
both
being
correct.
like
I'll say
the
that. Then
conclusion
again,
of that.
the memes that came up, like the meme of John looking at a sword and then transposing whatever they do on the back, like one was
no.
Yang on the ground with her bloody arm, and the title is "John must finish what Adam started," and I lost it because I'm like, or it's like John with the sword and the cake they had in the
Yeah, the
stadium.
cake. Or
Oh,
there
God,
was
it's
also
so
John and the sword
good.
and the scene with Yang and Blake taking the selfie.
And the
was also
selfie, I was just
yeah.
like, that is so good. Also, the fact that John wears Pyrrha's sash, so technically Pyrrha killed Penny twice.
Bonding. I mean, the thing is, you have you have the sword infused with stuff of Pyrrha's armor, or Pyrrha's, like,
Yeah.
whatever. So that is in there too. And if you think about it, then Cinder shattered the sword.
Mm-hmm.
Cinder
And so she.
killed Pyrrha.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
technically it's just a parallel.
Also, you could say that John's a real lady killer.
Oh,
They
God,
did say
no.
it in Volume 1.
Yeah, go get him,
Oh,
lady
God.
killer.
The
Yeah.
same,
just like,
as
yeah.
with Yang saying to the Grimm, to the Ursa, you could just say no.
You could just say no.
One of my chat said, "How dare you?"
It's funny. Okay, I can't claim credit for that. I took that from the FNKI subreddit, which is just a trash meme RWBY one. Because if you post something in RWBY subreddit, it gets taken down. You go to FNKI. That's where all the trash memes go.
It's too good, though. It's too good.
It's so
I want to
funny.
talk about the chess reference as well,
Mm-hmm.
because ever since Volume 2, it was already referenced. Oh, sorry, Volume 1. At the end of
We
Volume
had the
1.
chess pieces
In-
already.
How about this cute little pony?
Yeah, and the relics as well. Now, in the opening sequence, you see. Not just in the opening sequence. It's on the very start of the volume itself, where Salem said to Cinder, "I might value you as more than a pawn, but you are not a player."
Mhm.
Basically, Salem
yeah.
is saying she's the player, and she's
Yeah.
not the queen. She's
Salem-
the player.
Yeah.
Cinder
she's
is the queen. She's always been the queen.
Cinder
thing.
is the queen.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because she can be moved around, and basically a
So-
queen is very powerful.
Yeah,
Does-
it's
what
like the
does that make
strongest.
Cinder? Is she a bishop, a knight, a rook?
No, she's a queen.
Cinder is
She's
the
a
queen. Salem is the
Ah,
player
okay.
who moves around the
Then-
pieces.
Who's the king in that scenario?
That's the question.
That's a good question right there. Well, basically, the player will always be the king because if you got
If the king's
Checkmate.
dead, basically,
you're dead. You're
yeah.
dead.
So-
You're done.
So Salem by proxy is the king then.
It's the king.
He's
Yeah.
the king and the player.
and the player. Now, what I wanted to let you guys know is because in chess, what is the most the last thing that you will sacrifice in all of your chess pieces among
queen.
your ranks?
The queen.
The queen, right?
Yeah, the queen.
And the queen sacrificed Neo and Watts. Watts is basically kind of like a bishop or
Probably.
a knight. No. Tyrion probably is a knight. And
Watts.
the bishop is Watts. Another lieutenant was also sacrificed.
Yeah.
Which is Hazel.
Which
Yeah.
she's probably a rook.
Exactly.
Probably, yeah.
I also want to address one more thing on the chessboard on the OP. Do you know where
Where Ironwood is standing.
Ironwood is standing?
Queen.
I don't know.
The queen.
Mm.
On the queen. There's a king, and he has no player. He has no player.
Yeah, all his pieces have been sacrificed by him.
Yeah.
Exactly. He's a queen that sacrificed everything, and that's why he lost. Because
Yeah.
sometimes
He is the last
you
one.
can actually sacrifice a queen to win.
Okay. Also,
Right?
at the very last episode, Ironwood just rolls up with that freaking BFG looking thing with his pistols just stuck in there. It's like, where the hell did you get that?
It's a gun.
It's
gun
the
gun,
BFG from Doom, and the fact that his gun's like
It's a gun,
locked
gun,
into
gun.
it. Also,
It's a
the
gun
fact
within a
that
gun within a gun.
Ironwood's pistols are named Due Process. I want to point that out.
Process.
I'm
Yeah.
like, that's nice.
Yep.
I forget that these weapons have names. Like, Crow is Harbinger, and Raymond
Harbinger?
Sword is Omen. And I'm like, ooh,
Yeah.
that's nice.
Harbinger
yeah.
and Omen, because both of them are the Harbinger and the Omen of Doom.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
That's what crows and
Ravens are
ravens
bad
are.
luck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
And they
great.
always bring bad news about Salem. It's the
What?
thing.
That works.
So, yeah, right? So, Yeah, there's a lot of things that is in the opening, right? That's super literal, as well. And I was actually looking at them at a metaphysical level. Like, for example, right? Nora, when she saw this, when we saw like the sparks on her eyes, I thought that she's gonna die.
But
Because
no,
of that.
it just meant her doing the whole taking
exactly.
that power.
Exactly. And then Ren seeing the pedal, we thought he's gonna die. As well.
But no, it was the petals
Like,
he saw with the
weird. It
semblance.
was him evolving his semblance. Exactly. Like,
Yeah,
God
it's
damn
a
that.
lot of foreshadowing that you really can't tell is foreshadowing if you don't
Exactly.
know what it is foreshadowing, and that is the best of it.
Yeah.
Like,
There's a lot of red herring on the OP, and there's a lot of foreshadowing.
yeah, but
mixed
that's
up
what I
together.
love about it. Like it could go either way, and in the end you're just like, yeah, but it makes so much sense.
Which is why I rank this OP as the highest one. Not adding the music itself. but
I
the
mean,
OP
my
itself.
favorite opening is
There's a lot.
still 2, but I'm just like, oh, I can't get over 2. Then again, 2 also has my favorite episode, which is the food fight, because nothing will ever peak that. Food fight. Okay,
Yeah,
am I
yeah,
the only
definitely.
one who wants them to go back and remake the first 3 in the new engine? Am I the only one who wants that?
No, you're not the
No.
only one. I think
You're not the only one, but for me, I still want it to be that way because
Yeah, I kind of
Yeah.
feel like I see the progression, but I think at least just take like fight scenes, like the fight in Volume 1, Episode
Make it like
8,
extra
the one that hooks
features.
everybody. Just remake that. I'd be a happy person.
Yeah, like have it be extra features. Just let's see how it would look in the new engine with the new skills people have and all that.
Also, the
Nice.
fact that we saw like 5 seconds of Glinda, I'm like, yay, she's not dead. But actually, if you think about it, the people who voice Port, Oobleck, and Glinda no longer like are associated with
Yes.
Earth so they're gonna have to get new voices because they're gonna go back,
Yeah.
get that relic.
Avail.
And
Oh,
I really like want all of them to like, hey, buddy, and they're all be like, they're all like coddling them still as children, and then like they're gonna like completely overpower them, like they're better than their teachers now, and their teachers are gonna be like, when did we get old? I mean,
Okay,
it's
that
always
makes
been
great.
old, but that's because Glinda was like super OP in the first like 3
Yeah.
seasons, just like I am a Jedi. Wow.
Yep, she's basically well.
So
she's a
is
magician.
that
I
her?
mean, she is the good
semblance?
witch.
Yeah, she's a witch.
Yeah, she
So
has
it's like
like
the weird-
telekinetics.
So the crop is her weapon, and her semblance is whatever the hell she's doing.
Yeah,
Telekinetic.
telekinetic.
Telekinesis.
Telekinesis.
Right.
Telekinetic
Yeah.
is the.
We
adjective
never
for it.
learned the semblances of Port and Oobleck, even though I'm pretty sure Oobleck is converting anything into fuel for his body, given how he drinks coffee from his flamethrower. So that flamethrower either uses that coffee as fuel, or he drinks fuel, or there's 2 separate compartments in that big ass thermos.
The coffee
Also, the
and
fact
yeah.
that Zwei is somehow fireproof.
Yeah, I want to
Does
know
that
more
mean-
about
He
that.
can fit inside a small mill.
Yeah, he fit in the middle
Yeah,
too.
he's like super
Yeah.
dog.
That dog is nuts.
Like,
Yeah,
are
but
any
it
of the other animals that way, or did Zwei just turn out that way because he lives with the Jalongs?
Exactly.
Yeah,
because he
can
lives
have
with
aura,
Tai
so,
and
yeah.
Yang and
Yeah, if animals. Wait a second. If animals can have aura, that must make hunting animals very difficult because you shoot a deer and the arrow deflects the bullet, and you're like, well, there goes my shot. That must suck.
yeah, they have
Imagine
to wear
like
down
fishing.
their armor first.
Imagine
probably
fishing
had
with
this
aura. Oh god. Fishing's already very painstakingly like
But I mean-
patient and time. Just adding aura on top of that, just like ugh.
If you're thinking about it, I mean, even with like a person has to first unlock their aura and control it and learn how to use it defensively. So
Mhm.
maybe a lot of
Conscious.
animals just don't unlock it in a way, and Zwei is one of the
Few
the
that have.
animals that have, because he has been with huntsmen his entire life.
It's like I would assume animals that like get into like fights, like when two rams butt heads, I would assume like one would discover like this weird aura thing because it's like actively taking in like fights and is like in a scrap for their life, or like an animal, like a prey that survived many predator encounters. They may like unlock it that way, or predator may unlock and have like heightened senses or something.
Why do
But
I
not
want an
everyone.
animal AU now with like animals finding their semblances?
I mean, we kind of have that with Faunus, except they actually have opinions.
Well, wasn't it explained on one of the World of Remnants where everyone has aura? Everyone
Except
has
Grim.
aura.
Yeah.
Except
The
Grim.
main difference is except if you're a fighter, you definitely have like a denser aura than someone who is not a fighter.
Because it's
Yeah,
or who's
because
not
Yeah.
trained.
I like to imagine like the people who like don't fight for a living, who people are like, I'm gonna be like a librarian, I'm gonna be like a technician, I'm gonna own a bakery. Their auras are probably pretty weak,
Yeah.
They're pretty weak.
Because they
or
don't
they
need
may
them.
not even have them, or they're just like going about their daily lives. Something happens, and all of a sudden, aura. I'm like, cool. Or like they're just working one day, all of a sudden, oh look, semblance, and it just so happens to fit my job. Like, imagine the semblance
Yeah.
of just like I can make fire, and I also bake things for a living. Cool. See, that would be useful. Or like I
Yeah.
can do something with electricity, and I work with technology. Whoop de doo.
Yeah, it wouldn't
Avery
total
says
sense.
everyone has aura, but it might not be unlocked. Fira had
Yeah.
to unlock John's. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, like,
So,
Jean
yeah.
is pretty much a commoner until Pyrrha unlocks his aura.
Also, the
so,
fact that semblances will just randomly kick in when something happens.
Yeah.
Like Ruby just did in training. Nora, struck by lightning.
I think
Which
one
is the
of
most
the,
Nora thing possible.
I mean, yeah, after
one of
this
the
volume,
most-
definitely.
the most accurate like exposition of an aura. Oh, sorry, not aura. Semblance unleashing is Cinders.
Mm-hmm.
Remember when she was scrubbing and
Yeah, when she
her
got
aura
mad and...
exploded? Yeah.
Mm,
Yep.
Exactly. That one. That is one
Yep.
case where you got emotional and your semblance unlocked before your auras.
Yeah.
Well.
Yeah, like speaking of semblance, I always thought, going back to good old Scarecrow Boy, that little plate on his head was installed there to suppress
you
or
maintain that
enhance
boy.
his semblance so he wouldn't have to deal with it. But after he got damaged by Watts, it was a shock to his nervous system, and it fried that little thing and either turned off and let's run rampant, or it amplified it when it should have suppressed it. That was always my theory, that little
like
like
a whole,
plate
like,
was like
aluminum tin
no, like
foil
that little
hat.
thing had like a little technology that would send pulses to the brain to tell the semblance no,
Okay.
or like turn it off. But that thing got damaged, so it either came back and he was during this stressful time, or like broke and
I mean-
amplified these feelings.
I mean, Atlas was doing a lot of research on auras and
Yeah.
stuff, so...
Yeah, they're like the technological masters. Also, their shielding technology is stupid. Can we talk about how their shielding technology just sucks? Because unlike in Star Wars, because in Star Wars you can shoot out in a dome. It has to be like It has to be like an electric fence. There has to be gaps, and you can just go up to one of the things and just go, eh, and the whole thing shuts down. It's like
Yeah,
the CCT towers. It's just like, oh, one goes down, the
Yeah.
whole thing breaks.
I mean,
Because
you got the whole thing
Here's
with
the
the
thing.
Leviathan in Volume 6.
Yeah, that was
Just,
in Volume
I
6,
reached
exactly.
the post.
And then in Volume 8 on Atlas itself with those little centipede things.
we have to
But to be
understand
fair-
though.
They did knock out
Yeah.
3 of those.
Exactly, and we have to understand that the world of Remnant, Atlas is the only, well, aside from Vale is basically a middle area when it comes to technology, and Atlas is the only one developing advanced technology. So everything that you see probably is their first iteration of the hard.
Yeah, but like beta testing.
Like prototypes.
Exactly,
Mhm.
exactly.
I mean,
So
Kenny
they
was a
thought that-
prototype.
Yeah. So for example, yeah, their shielding is basically they said that, hey, we're already like so up in the air, and this things that where the hard light is coming out from is super durable. Maybe we don't have to develop it anymore, right?
Yeah,
Maybe
but then they were also like, I know, let's install it on the side of the floating rock. So if any
Exactly.
little bit of that rock gives way, the whole thing crumbles away. Because that's exactly what Salem did.
Mm.
Also,
exactly.
those centipede things, like that green stuff that they had coming out their mouths, is that just acid or was that just like grim drool? Because there's a scene with that one of them or a couple of them had like green slime coming out of their mouths, and I was just like, eh.
Yeah, those are acid.
Yeah, I think
But
it
yeah.
was like sizzling like acid too.
And then we had that really big, ugly green one that Blake fought. Where the hell that thing was? Ugh.
Yeah, that was
That was
an interesting
not.
one.
That was gross.
Yeah.
And then we got those little tiny little scorpion dudes in Vacuo. There's little tiny guys. I'm like, oh, you can step on them. That's cute. And of course, we got the bats, which are really they're simple design, but they're really, really cool looking.
I want to talk about about Harriet because
Oh yeah.
on multiple episodes I write, Harriet, you're a bitch. Harriet, you're a bitch. And Harriet, you're a bitch. On the very last part, you're fine. But yeah, that's fine.
I mean, yeah, but I also
Sorry
understand.
to everyone who likes Harriet, but yeah. Again, subjective opinion. I don't know if she really is a bitch, but that's just how I see her.
I mean, she had the notion that Clover was dead with Crow's weapon, even though Tyrion was a confirmed serial killer. His weapon was used, and Tyrion was nowhere around. So for all Harriet knew, Tyrion just bolted, and Crow just straight up killed. Even though Robin was there, but the Aesop's clearly don't like Robin, so they're not going to take her word for it. So she just had this assumption, and that assumption just drove her to take the bomb out because reasons. And Vine was just like, I should probably go with her because she's kind of crazy right now.
She's gonna do some dumb stuff.
And then she is like, and then they disarm the bomb. Then Watcher's like, Uno reverse card, turns it back on, and then Vine just goes boom, which honestly was not as sad as I feel like it should have been because he was out of all of them the least developed. I think.
I was surprised, to be honest with you. That
Yeah, I was
the one
fully
who-
expecting that thing to go end of Dark Knight Rises. He just takes the bomb really far out and then explodes, or leaves the ship on autopilot or something. I didn't expect him to shoot out and encompass himself and then go boom.
I was actually expecting either Harriet or Marrow to die this volume, and Vine actually sacrificed himself, which is
Yeah, and
great.
now Harriet has lost 2 of her friends because that's
Three, if you count
we
the
finally got the
backstory we
revelation.
got with Tortuga and all
Tortuga.
that.
Oh yeah, Tortuga. You think we finally got that revelation of I'm not protecting my coworkers, I'm protecting my friends. And I'm like, yes, you finally acknowledge it, and
Yeah.
that's when Vine dies. And now it's just Elm and Harriet and Marrow, and Elm's just probably bear hugging Harriet, trying to calm her down, and Marrow's just sitting there
Probably,
being a
yes.
sad boy.
Yeah, that's going to be interesting to see how they go there because Harriet's broken at
Yeah.
this point, and even though she's been a bitch a lot of the volume, I can still understand somehow where she's coming from emotionally.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe not logically all the time, but emotionally, yes.
Okay, so also Elm, does she have an accent? Because I could have sworn in the more episodes went past, the more a weird accent I was detecting. I was like, I know the voice actor is American, so why do I keep hearing this weird, slightly Scandinavian accent coming through?
I can't tell
And I
you
was
anything
just-
about that. I have no idea about accents.
And I was just like, there's something there. Either that or I'm
I
crazy.
don't know.
I'm not American. I have no idea.
Yeah, I mean, fair enough.
I
We
mean,
have plenty of
I
accents here.
Can kind of distinguish Southern from a Californian accent or something, but
Oh, yeah, that's-
it's all
or,
very compartmentalized.
Okay, one of my viewers said, "Car isn't crazy. I heard it too." So you're
Okay,
not crazy
good.
in that.
Okay, good. So yeah, I was hearing it, but it wasn't volume 7. It was more in 8, but the latter half of 8. So I kind of think that. So since Alice fell and Ironwood is maybe dead, does that mean that if Winter goes back to what remains of Atlas, she is in charge? because she's technically the highest ranking military official left.
Probably. She's the highest ranking right now, I think.
Yeah.
I mean, she was also, like, one of the trusted people of Ironwoods.
Yeah, like one of the few.
Like, the problem is, okay, if it would go after, like, hey, Ironwood was our leader now, let's see who's the next, then Winter would be. But if Ironwood is hated by people, and Winter is the one that was, like, the second in command after him, I don't know if she would be accepted by people.
Yeah, because they're gonna have to build a new kingdom somewhere.
Yeah.
Because there's no way they can just divide resources of all of them to the other three. That's be like, hey, here's a city with 500,000 people. You have 3/4 of a million people in one day. Deal.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, yeah, they're gonna have
not
to
work.
build a new place somewhere. Probably somewhere warmer.
Maybe.
Or they'll just go back and just build around. If they build around the crater atlas, I'm just be like, come on, really? But there's gonna be on the ground this time. They're all gonna still be in the same class or whatever, and people are gonna.
They could still, like, build above, like have the buildings all be, like, on a platform above the water and stuff.
Yeah, I'm just thinking is like, if that they do build near the ruins of Atlantis, people are just gonna start, like, free diving into the ruins to get salvage and crap.
Probably, yeah.
But then also probably gonna be water grim gonna soon spawn in there, I bet. Okay.
That would be
Random okay, the Grim River. Where did that come from?
From the pools of Grim.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
mean,
but like
Salem
that's on
led
the
it there.
opposite side of the planet.
No, it's being carried by the whale. Do you see the glowing?
Yeah,
Thing
but so
inside
does
the
that
whale?
mean Salem used
My
the
theory is
whale?
that, yeah,
Yeah, Salem
My
used the
theory is
whale
inside
to
the whale.
get that there.
Okay, but it was underneath the ice and then like carved.
No. When it was moving forward, it was trying to
Yeah, but it's
bring
but
down the Grim.
I always thought that it was just like a grim pool that was underneath the ice, just in stasis. And the arrival of the whale and all this negativity finally, like, reactivated this dormant thing that was there, bubbled it to the surface, and then Satan was just like, oh, convenient, then just took control of that.
I think she
That's what I
planned
thought.
it more or
Brought
less.
She definitely brought it because she said to Ozpin, it's time. She knows it's gonna happen.
Yeah, okay,
Right?
the
And
thing
then
is, even
it burst it out.
it could still be that it was, like, dormant, but since Salem can basically sense grim stuff, even if it was
She
there already,
probably,
she would have noticed.
Arrived
And
in
known
Atlas, and she was just probably sitting in her chair one day and went, ooh, interesting. Because that's probably how she is. She probably just like this weird, like the Force. She's just like,
Disturbance in the Force. Yay! I just lost connection for a little while.
okay, I didn't notice.
Yeah, no,
Oh.
you just both stopped for me and then the stream stopped. Like, it was probably some connection error. But now everything's fine again.
But yeah, I mean, like,
Basically said that the silver eyes of Ruby will be used to purify Salem.
well, it could. But I'm thinking
could.
that Salem has just been Grim Lady for so long that the second her body no longer has that thing, she's gonna be going
gonna
through
be
some
too much.
serious withdrawal and it may just straight up kill her
Yeah.
without having this being there for so long.
Yeah,
Because,
it's too much of a part of her right now.
but here's the sad thing. Since the genie lamps are so specific in their wording, I'm also thinking that the gods are also very very precise. There.
Like,
And
They're
when
gods,
they say, as long as this world turns. So I'm thinking, even if Salem does win, brings all the relics together, brings the gods, and they kill everybody, she will still be there, and they'll be like, alright, peace, we're out. And then she'll be stuck there. Because the
And
planet
do the
is
whole
still
thing over
rotating.
again.
So Salem, what Salem needs to do is stop the planet from rotating. That's what she needs to do.
I mean,
Then
the
the second that happens, she can die, she commits seppuku, and then everybody's happy.
The moon's already broken. Why not stop the Earth's rotation?
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Which would be
Okay,
very
like,
interesting.
How does
honestly.
that fractured moon affect the oceans of the planet?
I don't know. I was really curious about that, but we never got the answer, right?
Also, the fact that the moon is actively rotating in and of itself.
It is
still
actually
doing
actively
that,
rotating.
yes.
In midnight, when they were training, when
it was
Cinder
facing
and-
away.
It was facing away. the
So
other
you
time.
didn't see, yeah.
Yeah, I'm just curious how that works. Ooh.
It
Me
probably
too.
still does affect tides, but not as
Ooh,
much as.
I just
how
had a
our moon-
thought.
I mean,
What
it's-
if Salem uses her weird mumbo jumbo voodoo and creates an almost werewolf type creature where on the surface it's human, but the second she activates something, or the second the moon comes up or something, they turn into a large Beowulf type creature, just better. I was just that could be viable, because I feel like that moon has a lot of symbology. Plus, Sam can do lots of crazy shit. She just formed a tornado after Hazel punched her. No problem. She's bam, tornado. Ooh.
Avery said they will wipe the planet from existence. If they return and humanity is still divided, they will wipe the planet from existence completely, and that will absolutely mean Salem is done.
Okay.
Okay, when the whole
and then-
planet is gone, then yes, it doesn't turn anymore.
Okay, yeah, that would work. Or they could just leave her floating in space.
She could be floating in space as well. Yeah.
Oh no. Floating in space
Completely
for all eternity.
biosuffocation over and over.
Yep.
Noble said the physics of this fractured moon is frustrating. How does all the tiny pieces stay still and
Well, I
not move?
think
It's
they're just
annoying.
I think it's just they're still within the gravity
Yeah, I
of
think so
that
too.
moon
But the gravity is not strong enough for
to
them to be
pull them
hurled
down.
and-
It's just in deadlock. It's like how satellites just kind of stay up there.
Yeah, I think
To
that's
me,
how it
the
works.
rotation is not the problem. The revolution of the moon to the Earth is the one that's annoying, because it could be going near the gravity of the Earth, wherein the smaller pieces can get in
Yeah, it can,
contact with the
drag.
gravity, and it just drag it. Exactly.
Or it could just be far enough away that it doesn't get that the tiny pieces don't get majorly affected, but the whole body itself does get affected.
Exactly.
Or
The revolution is
maybe
the one that we don't know about.
it does get little meteor showers now and then, but it's only on a certain ring, the ring of fire on this planet. There's the ring of falling space rocks.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, we don't know if the moon there works exactly as the moon
Our
on
moon,
Earth.
it could literally just be a ball in the sky and do nothing.
We
What?
don't know.
Yeah. So, regarding Salem wanting to have the sweet release of death, right? I
Mhm.
want to know what your guys' thoughts about the lieutenant doesn't know what her exact plan is. None of them knows, except Tyrion. Tyrion has a
Pretty good idea.
Pretty good guess.
yeah, right.
But he's
guess,
only
because-
destroy! Yay!
yeah, exactly. But
Tyrion
the
is
other,
the living embodiment of anarchy.
he's chaos incarnate.
Yes.
Is what he is.
He would fit very well in the Warhammer universe. Just saying.
So Hazel, Tyrion, Hazel, and Watts and Cinder doesn't know what Salem
wants.
plan is.
Hmm.
Yeah, exactly. And all they know is that she wants domination.
relics.
That's not really. She wants to die. She really just wants to die.
Yeah,
So
I mean,
that she can be with
Like-
Ozpin, even
Okay.
though Ozpin kind of hates her now.
I remember when Volume 6 came out and I started doing the reactions and all that, I said from the very beginning when we got the backstory, Salem wants to die, that is her wish. And some people were like, or she just wants to defeat the gods, and this and that. And I'm like, well,
No,
it
she can't
could be, but do you really think after such a long time she still wants to live?
Yeah,
I don't
she's
think so.
lived hundreds upon thousands of
Yeah,
years.
if you think
She just
about it,
wants
she
to
had to
fight
go
God.
through evolution all over again.
Yeah, she probably
existed throughout
watched
evolution.
humans and faunas evolve to their
Yeah.
points and just like stayed away.
So-
She basically just wants to spite the gods that, haha, I will actually die because you made like a stipulation where
You're not my
if all
mom.
of the relics, right? If all of the relics are combined and they're not together, then you will purge the earth alongside me, so I will still die, even with your curse,
Yeah.
right? So
Mutually
It's still
assured
fight
destruction, yay.
Yeah, but
that's
but
why
I like
go ahead.
those tropes, honestly, like immortals that want to die but can't.
I can't.
I'm a big
exactly.
fan of this trope, actually.
That's why like elves in fiction, they're always like, oh, we have, natural immortalities and we can't die of old age. We can still be poisoned, we can still be shot, we can still be, burned to death, but we can't die of old age. And that gives them this weird superiority. It's just like, yeah,
We can die
but if
whenever
I
we
take
want.
this knife and stab you in the face, you're gonna die just as simple as that human over there.
Yeah.
I've always loved it when elves get pegged down a notch.
Yeah.
I want to ask both of you, what's the strongest? Not really the strongest. What's the greatest immortality between the two? Ozpin's reincarnation or Salem's
Salem's-
restoration?
In
I
what
feel like-
sense? Because
Well-
It's not really a vulnerability because she gets destroyed, but she just reconstructs herself.
And
Or reconstruct
Osman can
after.
die, but just body hops to somebody else. And I was like,
Exactly.
what is like the most what is like the ideal immortality?
Range
Die, but
immortality.
take an hour to reconstitute, or die, be thrown around for a few weeks, find a new person, spend a couple years acclimating, be that person until the end of their life, and just repeat the process.
honestly, I think if you say preferred, I think if you just want pure immortality, then Salem's would be the superior one. Because with Ozpin, like with Ozma going into another body and then becoming another person, you always have to culminate another, like, you merge with another person every so and so years, every time you die. And this is, like, we've heard from Oz himself, like, I become a new person.
Mm-hmm.
So he's not the same person he was before. It's not actual immortality for Ozma. It's more
for
like
the
a hive
collective
mind.
conscious.
Yeah. It's
But
a
there's also
collective
like a benefit for
consciousness,
Ozma because he's never alone, and he can take the abilities of the new person that he's inhabiting,
Yeah.
and that person will benefit from his abilities as well.
Yeah, I
Okay.
So
mean,
it's basically
that's
all for one.
true. But like, I just
Okay, one for all.
meant that if you want pure immortality for one single person, then Salem's would be superior.
Yeah.
exactly.
Also, so when Ozpin inhabit Oscar, they like share each other's memories and stuff, right?
Yes.
So does that mean Oscar can like go back and view certain moments in every life?
Exactly. Yeah.
Probably. Yeah,
That's
because
why he
Okay.
merges.
I lived through all those fairy tales because he
Okay,
knows every single one.
Okay, and that's the case because my mind's kind of, addled a little bit. That's a nice way of putting it. My mind immediately went back. Does that mean he can go back and watch Ozma and Salem get it on and watch them have their kids? He can just go back and watch
mean-
that happen.
I don't know
Yeah,
if you
yeah.
can watch
Yeah.
it because I mean memories
Well, like,
don't
you
work
can, like,
that way.
understand
you
it.
can remember something.
Yeah, he remembers that, which is kind of weird in the sense that Oscar probably felt that at least one point and he went like, I need to go shower.
Oh no!
Because that's some
Oscar
weird,
just
that's some
lost
weird
his
shit right there.
innocence.
Yeah.
But then again, the whole adult side of this fandom takes anything and fucking bolts with it.
Yeah.
It is
Oh, yeah.
honestly impressive, this kind of stuff that come out. And sometimes the art is way better than normal art, because like just the lighting and stuff,
Because the people just go all in.
they just care enough because there's a ton of it out there. It is like honestly ridiculous.
Just to answer some of the suggestions here, Avery said that Salem's immortality is the best. She still has her body and all her knowledge and experience. What else? And also, Noble, you're still on Volume 4. So I'm so sorry for the spoilers that we're saying right now. There's a lot of spoilers right now.
Why are you still here? That was the question.
I love you, Matt, being here, but man, that's a big spoiler right there.
Yeah, I remember when I'm like here's the thing, like I don't really remember watching Volume 4 and 5 as it premiered. I remember watching 1 through 3, then I remember watching 6, and then I watched 7, and then during the hiatus for this, I'm like, did I ever actually watch 5? So I went back, watched 5, and realized, wow, this one's actually great. Why do people bitch about it so much? And then I went back, finished it, and I was just like, and now I'm sad.
Oh no.
Because I feel like 5 didn't do a whole lot in the grand scheme of things. It just had a lot of character moments, and I'm like, that's okay. Like that moment when Yang and Wise go through the portal and appear, and like Ruby drops the thing and she immediately like curls up and like holds her arms and steps in place. And I'm like, oh, you're still very much a 16-year-old girl.
Yeah, I mean with volumes 4 and 5 and stuff, also like it's always the same. Like when you have series, when you have book series, even like movie franchises, there's always gonna be something that is okay all in itself, but it won't really change much about what the others are, you know? That's just how things are, and some people don't understand that people are allowed to, like, make a little bit less impactful things for once.
Yep. So, do you guys happen to have any, like, stories about people who you've gotten in to watch RWBY, and then you watch them see certain things and, like, get their reactions?
Oh,
because I knew a guy, and we met, like, I don't know when, but he watched the Volume 3 finale the same time I did. I messaged him like, hey man, how'd you think about it? I didn't hear back from him for 6 months because he had a bit of a breakdown from watching it happen.
Okay, that is bad.
Yeah, it's bad. Then a buddy of mine, we watched 9 through 12 of 3 all in one sitting, and the second 12 ended and we stopped. He took his headphones off, he went outside, and he broke his non-smoking streak of 3 years and started smoking because of that, and he broke his diet of a year. He just ate a ton of brownies because of it. And I'm here dying, laughing at his pain, and he's just like, I just broke 3 years of smoking and a diet because you guys watch the show and I love it, and then you made me watch these characters die, and I hate you.
I have more of a funny story going on, like
it is funny to me because I find pain in others funny.
But last year I watched it with a friend, and she was all into like Roman. He was a favorite character at the time, and I was like, oh my gosh, how is she gonna react when he dies? And
dude, that's
what
like
happened?
The best
she
feeling.
started laughing, and I was like, that was not what I expected.
Oh, yeah,
but she just
when
laughed
people
her ass off.
who say, "Oh, my favorite pair," whenever the words "favorite" and Roman, Pure, or Penny appear in the first 3 scenes, I'm like, haha, I'm gonna enjoy watching you cry.
Yeah, that's. She
always
liked
those
Roman more than Penny, but she was more devastated by Penny than by Roman, which is so interesting.
The way Roman went out was just like,
yeah, it's like it's the irony, I think, does it.
Yep.
But yeah, but a lot of people who are just like, I like Pyrrha, I like Penny, and I'm just
I'm like, oh.
If they say I like Pyrrha. Shit.
Oh yeah, when it was like a brand new reactor. I like Pyrrha. It's that shifty eye puppet meme, just looking left to right quickly. It's just like, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh god,
Good luck
it's
with
so
that.
good.
Yeah, that's.
And then I got
I just want to talk about the girl who fell through the world as well. The story of the girl.
like the story that Osmond told Oscar to make him feel better, or whatever.
He said, she brushed off her bumps and bruises, for nothing hurts worse than the loneliness in her chest. I thought that the idea of falling through Remnant into a new world was exciting. I never understood why she was so sad when she finally went back home. So for me,
Fell through Remnant into another world, Wonderland. Weiss fell, and
Yeah.
she's always did the whole "I'm alone" with like her 5 or 7 songs.
That would
She has a
play-
lot of songs.
That would play really good into your theory of Yang being there for a while before the others come. Because
Yeah.
that would be like
yeah.
the pain of being alone.
Okay. Okay. I want to talk about a meme that's been going around. The whole turning the main characters into fruit. Have you seen this?
Yango,
Well, that Yango, Blake as a coconut,
Coconut.
Weiss as a kiwi, and Ruby as
EY, Rubenana.
Rubanana, and then Nora, Ren, and Jean were also turned into fruits, and I don't remember what they were.
Nope, I'm not in that area of me.
Okay, so someone drew a comic of like them waking up on the island, and they're like, "Where's Yang?" And Blake, he's like, "I hear rustling over there." Runs over, Yang, I can't believe you're here. Are you okay? And it's Blake, and it's Yang holding a coconut, drawn like Blake, making out with the coconut. Like,
No, please,
like
Scar, don't
Wilson.
cancel me. It's all Scar. He wants to talk about that meme.
I saw this randomly. I'm like, why are people photoshopping cat ears onto a coconut and posting it in the RWBY part? And I'm like, what? Then I see that artwork, and I'm like,
And
then the
finally it
internet
makes
just
sense.
ran with it.
It's basically like yours.
Yeah, it's basically like the Yorse and the Beehaw, but this time with fruit. And I'm just like,
Fun.
okay, but here's the thing. Like, Blake, I want to talk about how the fruits that they are don't really match their personalities. Like, Blake is not a coconut person. Yang is not. Maybe a mango person. She's actually, no, Yang's a dragon fruit. There you go.
Of course she is.
And then Weiss is those blue bananas that taste like vanilla ice cream. That's what she is. Oh yeah, those are a real thing. There are blue bananas that if you break it open is like soft serve vanilla ice cream in the middle and you can just eat it. It's really, really weird. They're delicious, by the way. But they're very expensive.
Okay.
Ruby's like a strawberry. Most likely. That or, yeah, she's a strawberry. Yeah. Yeah, so, but then again, the memes have always been quality in this show.
Memes have been.
Just like the whole, like, template of just taking a still image and then just replacing the backdrop. Like that one of all the people getting stabbed. I love that one so much. Or like, no, the
And
selfie one,
every
but
time
with,
another
but
is-
no, it's the selfie one, but there's also Adam dying there also. Oh god, it's so good.
RWBY meme culture.
It's nuts. And then of course, you know, you always have the artists who just draw nice pictures and the people who have to make the comics.
So
And then
I want to go back to the girl who fell through the world, because I wanna say that I want to connect it more to Neo. Because
Okay.
remember on the third volume, she fell, and she never saw Torchwick again because he died.
Mhm.
And basically, the gist of the story is when she fell, when she got back, she's a different person. The same.
Oh,
as
she was
this-
alone.
Yes, because she was alone, and now she fell to the world again the same time, and she might come back different from what she was before. So this can be taken something as positive and negative at the same time.
I'm almost confident that the second Neo realizes where she is, she's gonna immediately try to kill Ruby again, but then Yang's gonna be all pissed, as she should be, and just wreck Neo's shit, and just completely annihilate her. And then she's gonna, like, do something where, like, Yang basically just, like, instead of just outright killing Neo, she, like, puts like a handcuffs on her and just drags her around like a prisoner and makes her carry shit. And I'd be like, that could be really funny, but then again, that's just me. I just want Yang to get revenge for the train thing, because if Neo hadn't beaten her, Raven could have saved Yang from getting her arm cut off. Or something. Well, actually, no, because it was the whole death thing. She probably would have let the arm still happen. But then again, Raven's a bitch, so.
Yeah, that's why I never thought that Raven will actually show up in.
She will. She doesn't really have a choice. She is a maiden. She has no choice.
At some point.
No. In Volume 8. No, in Volume 8.
Well, in Volume 8, yeah. She will show up again. Now, I've always had this idea that, after Levacuo and all reunited, they fight back to Vale, and they drop by Patch, and they knock on Nantiang's door, they get invited in, or something, and then they just, in the kitchen talking, then Raven just comes down from the stairs dead tired in, a rock t-shirt and shorts, grabs the carton of milk, slams it, and goes right back upstairs, just completely ignoring everybody. And Ruby and Yang are like, and Tank's like, what? Raven just walked by and goes, yeah? So? And they just plays it nonchalantly, and then Yang's like, what the hell is happening? And Tai goes, well, Yang, we technically never got divorced, I think, and Raven here is just to, remind me of that. And then he just completely played off that he just reconnected over, their time away. And then they're both Ruby and Yang just like, okay, can we, use her, to help out? And Dad's like, nah, she's still kind of, fragile about being, the whole not being a murderous scumbag thing, trying to be a decent person. He doesn't want to try too much.
Now.
I've always had that idea in my head, and I'm like, that'd be cute. It's not gonna happen, but if it does, I'm gonna lose my shit.
I think one of the other lines that I want to talk about as well, and one of my favorite of the volume is May's line, where she basically says that I am not the son of the Marigolds, and I want the mantle to know that I am not the daughter of Atlas.
Yeah.
It's such a good line and such a good delivery as well.
Yeah, I mean, when she was first introduced, I'm like, there's something off about this, and then that came out, I'm like, that didn't even cross my mind. I just thought, I don't know why I thought, I was just like, that's weird.
I mean,
then I just kind of didn't.
They portrayed it really well.
Yeah, it's just it didn't even cross my mind. I feel like if it doesn't cross your thought, you're just like, oh, this is just a person. Then you're like, oh, okay, now that makes more sense. That's
the best way to do it, honestly. Not just say it off the bat or something.
Face.
Just let them connect with the character and be like, yeah, but.
How does a reveal, quote unquote, that compare to the Ilya is super gay reveal in Volume 5? Because I feel like the way Ilya the hint told everyone how she felt, it was handled pretty well, especially given the whole her skin change with her emotions flashing pink and stuff. I was like, oh, you sweet little cinnamon roll.
Yeah, I really love the reveal for May as well, because in Volume 8, so the code is exactly, they said I wasn't their son, and I made sure everyone knew I wasn't their daughter. It was actually really, really good as well. And on the fact that she also said that they have what was his name? What was
Henry?
Henry. They have Henry, and you have Whitley. So it's basically that. Damn, yeah.
But I also like that it was maybe it's not the same thing.
Yeah, my family is probably a lot more fucked up than yours, given how one actively tried to murder me.
Well,
oh god.
Also, when Ironwood blew Jacques to a million pieces, I'm like, well, at least you did one good thing. Because nobody liked Jacques, and I'm like, yeah, you can't. You're like, Yeah,
I still
he
found it
deserved to
very
be dynamized.
anticlimactic, I think. It was kind of
Yeah,
like...
that's fitting. You don't want to give a piece of shit like Jacques Schnee a climactic awesomeness. You want to just like, one off. They're like, he didn't even put any effort, just like, sure, bang, and then left. He was gonna die anyway of the collapse, but this way he got atomized, so it was a quick death.
To be honest with you, I never really had any more care about Jacques. Whether he lives or dies, to be honest
I
with
mean,
you.
the second I heard his name, I'm like, oh, he's a douchebag.
The
This is
resolution
so funny.
on Volume 7 is already good enough for me, to be honest. Yeah, go ahead.
This is so funny, since in the novel I'm writing right now, in the novel trilogy, there's a dad called Jacques, and he's actually a super nice guy, so it's like,
Oh my god.
I think I was just compensating for, like, I need a Jacques who's nice. To just compensate for the douchebags
Also,
that
the
we have
fact
here.
that his hair isn't actually white, he dyes it to fit in. And I'm like, that also means he dyes his mustache, and I'm like, that's just a funny image.
Just
Also,
Right.
Willow summoned a Borbertusk, which means she killed one at some point.
yes.
Yeah.
So I'm like, were
guess
you
she
a
was
huntress? At one point?
Probably.
Or did you just
Or she
accidentally kill one?
She
Oops.
might have trained in Atlas because she's from
Maybe.
high society. Because
Maybe.
Wise have been saying I want to live up to the legacy. I don't think she's saying the legacy of the Schnee Company, but saying the lineage of the
Yeah,
family
I mean,
itself
or
being
grandfather.
fighters.
And all that
I
shit.
think, because Nicholas was like a badass warrior, then got old,
Yeah.
then created the company.
I mean, it would make sense if his daughter would train
with some
and-
sort of combat oriented.
And then,
Exactly that.
sure. She just, kind of got bitter after
The
marrying
fact
Jack.
that the second Jacques left, Whitley just did kind of a 180, just like, oh, he's not really here anymore.
Yeah,
I don't know what I am.
I mean, that is basically a good portray. I don't know words anymore. Like,
Words are hard.
yeah, I know. I'm a writer. Yeah, like an abused child, kind of, because as soon as you take an abused child away from their abusers, it's gonna take some time for them to kind of find their place in the world.
Yeah, they're gonna
Because
get
they
back
don't
to
know anything else.
normalcy.
Exactly.
And that's just how the Whitley situation is right now. He kind of has to find out what he's able to do. It's all this like finding yourself thing going on, the same we had with like Nora and stuff. If the person you were with all your life, who very like shaped your personality in a certain way, is no longer there, or at least for a while, it's gonna be difficult for you to decide what you are.
Yeah.
Yep.
Also, like, here's a little nitpick thingy. When Ladybug fixed the generator and those candles turned on, fire is not electric. I will not let that go. I refuse to believe that every single one of those are like electric candles, because
Those
electric
are
candles
electric
don't
candles.
have. Well, electric candles typically don't have moving wicks like those were. So
They
unless
might
it's
have
like
Their technology is
dust
good.
related,
Dust.
I can only
They're
say like
dust
dust
related.
related.
Yeah.
Yeah, but just
Probably.
like what dust functions like that?
Here's the thing.
I mean, their
there's
whole thing is going with dust. I mean, they don't have electricity like we have. Everything
they
they do
don't
is based
I'm
on
trying
dust.
to think like what things do they use that don't use dust? Because they use dust to power like their cities and their vehicles and their weapons. But I'm like, do they have like batteries and normal electricity and solar power and stuff like that?
Probably
like,
not. It's the same.
compensate?
Like, you have to think about it. If you have dust, you're gonna use it and not gonna try. Like, the moment they don't have dust anymore, then they are gonna first have problems, and then they're gonna have to try make different things. that is the only way where they could like achieve electricity we do, for example, because right now they still have it. They still have dust, and why would they look for other things if they have it? It's why we here like our like electricity thing. That's why humans took so long to like develop like wind energy, water energy stuff in big amounts, because there were the whole oil industry, and we had that for a long time. That's just how it works.
Exactly that. I want to circle back to and connect what you're saying right now to what you were saying before with the technology itself with Atlas. Remember that Atlas is the only one trying to develop a good, like, basically the technology of the world, right? Mm-hmm. So imagine they're the only ones who's doing that. The other ones are still in like medieval age, basically. Right?
Well, I feel like Vale is like on our par right now.
On our modern time, yeah.
Yeah, Atlas is like a century or two ahead. Mistral's like 20 to 30 years behind, and I don't know about Vacuole.
Yeah, we still have to see.
But I would assume Vacuole are incredibly rustic, robust, hardy people living in a desert.
Yeah.
So imagine, why are they not trying to get into or ask a question why dust doesn't work on space? Maybe we can do an alternative way of doing so, right?
Yeah.
Because basically the one who's running Atlas, the only one that's developing technology for the whole world, is being run by one man and one man alone. So he's the only one who's approving everything, including I guess the advancement of technology. That's why Watts doesn't like him, because he needs to approve what he wants to do with the world, and that's why I actually like Watts, right? Because Watts wants to do a lot of things. I
thought it was because Watts invented something, and then Ironwood didn't give him the credit and gave Pietro all the credit.
No, he decided. He decided that they should do what Pietro did and not what Watts had in mind. That was what happened.
So he's just salty.
Yeah, he's a little bit salty that he didn't get to do what he wanted.
Poor boy.
And he also wants kind of independence when what he wants to do.
Yeah.
Which Salem gives him as well. Speaking of experiments, right? With the Hound itself, it's an experiment of Salem, not Watts. Because basically, Salem is the only.
Yeah, Watts doesn't understand how Grim works. Nobody does except Salem.
Yeah, that's a Salem thing.
But the thing is, it's an experiment, meaning there could be more.
Yeah, that's my theory, that Summer is the first one, like the apex, that she keeps like the secret weapon, and this one was like a more recent one, or like a finalized version of another kind that she was just like, I'm just gonna test this thing, see how well it works. Worked pretty well until it got crushed. So yeah, I highly doubt that's the last time we will see something of that caliber.
Definitely not.
Highly doubt it.
Then they're not going to kill the Hound off and then say, "Nope." Well, that's how.
Yeah, that's his thing. Ruby's going to have to kill her mother at some point. That ever since it was revealed that there was a Silver Eye person underneath all that goop, I was like, Summer is alive, Pseudo as a Grim, and Ruby's going to have to cut it down or die, or watch Yang get mauled by her former mother. Ooh, what if Yang does it? Ooh, I'm not sure which is worse, Ruby or Yang doing it, or Crow. All three of these are good options.
All of them together.
Ooh, what if at the very, very none of them can do it?
To hold her down, and
yeah, or all three of them tried, but they just can't bring themselves. And then Raven comes out of nowhere and just cuts the whole thing down, then bursts out crying. I would love that.
Okay, that is the best option. Okay, you just gave me that.
Yeah,
because Raven, we don't see much of emotion from Raven, and we don't know exactly how well the friendship between Summer and Raven was.
I'd like to think it's kind of the same relationship that Weiss and Ruby has, that Ruby was Summer, and then Raven acted more like Weiss. That's always been how I thought it functioned.
We don't know, but like if that would happen,
Ooh.
there like before that, I would really love those Team Stark flashbacks then because
like,
we need them
more,
beforehand.
Like, anything Team Stark, please.
Yeah.
Maybe once what they could do that's like a bit of a dick move is wait until the whole main series is done, then do like a mini anthology of like 5 to 10 episodes of Stark stuff.
Nah, I wouldn't want that. I would want them to kind of...
Because once the main show is over, there's still a lot you can do, so they're probably going to come up with another thing.
But the Stark stuff is pretty much tied into the main story enough to have it be possible to put it in as like flashbacks or something else. Because there are other things you can explore in that world that are not tied into the main story as much, and those would be perfect for like spin-offs. There's a lot of potential, but the Stark stuff should be more part of the main story.
I've always liked when like an episode comes out and that's not like a finale, and you're like, all right, speculations, and then the next episode comes out and you're kind of like half right. Like
But
I
you're
always
not really-
when Cinder used the last question, in my head I was just like, what if by the time Cinder gets that lamp to Salem, because this
questions are
falls
already
into
filled
how the lamp works. Maybe in the time between Cinder asking the question and Cinder giving it to Salem, those 100 years ended
Over.
and started again, and the questions were already there. That's what my thought, because that would have been like if like Salem held it out in front of her, stared at it, and said Jin, and then she appeared.
And then
I'd be like, okay, I had that theory, but then I was like, nah. Because I'm curious, is it like a set 100 years or 100 years from the last question being used? That's like that's the real question.
Yeah.
Because it's like a
we
set
don't
100
have
years.
If it's a set 100 years, it could happen. You know, that we get the 3 questions soon again.
Maybe.
We don't know. We never got the details on that.
So, the crown is at Beacon, right?
It's on Beacon, yes.
Yeah.
And
So,
what does it do? Is that the
it's Crown of
powers?
Choice.
Choice, right?
Someone like earlier in the chat said that the genie person with the crown of choice should like look like a Gandhi type person.
Yeah, I could see that.
I mean, it makes sense, you know.
Yeah, and then like the destruction one, it's like a very like, it's like a where it's like a hood, like death, like a skeleton or something like that.
Or like a
Like
just like
destruction.
chaos spirit thingy going on.
Okay, or
very
like that
all over
one,
the place,
like instead
maybe.
of being blue, that one is red because chaos and destruction. That would be cool if it was red. I don't think they will because the colors are very important in this show,
Yeah,
but it would
no.
be nice.
Also, thoughts on why is it like it's super special that it has to be put in a different containment as well? Like, unlike the other 2 that we've already seen are
Yeah, I
inside.
think it's because he was just like, alright, he'll give the other 3 out, and they'll do their best to protect it, but this is the one that I have, and I'm gonna do extra precautions.
Yeah.
That's
I
like
think it's
you
that
do
way.
2-step verification, and then you make a 3rd.
Yeah, I mean, you don't. It's kind of pretty dumb to just hide everything with a same kind of mechanism. It's
Mhm.
better if you I don't know. It's kind of as if you use the same password on all of your accounts.
Yeah,
And,
except one.
And then the most important one is a different password. And if someone hacks you and has the password for all of the other accounts, they're still not going to get into that last one.
Yeah. I've always had the theory that it's not in a vault, it's just out in the middle of nowhere. Or it's just like in a place so like innocuous that no one would think to look, or it's like in a hole somewhere.
I mean, they did say in the whole like Brunswick Farms thing, we could just throw the lamp into a well and nobody would find it for a while. Like,
Yeah.
the problem there is just that Grimm can sense the relics. I think
That's
that is
true.
the
Yep,
main problem.
exactly
there.
that. Yep.
And
Which
that
is exactly why
they were
the vaults were created.
because
To me,
it's like
the
pocket
reason-
dimension thingy going on. They can't sense into that. Yeah.
But if that's the case, I don't think the vault is underneath Beacon like everybody else. I think the vault is somewhere. It's just like not in the exact place people think. It's close
Maybe.
by,
There
just
could be.
not there.
Yeah.
It's
I mean,
It's
we
probably
saw
like-
the vault kind of, but we didn't see a door like we had in the other vaults. So
Yeah.
maybe it's somewhere else.
I think the reason why I think it's special is because it has the power of choice. And when the humans were created, they have the power to choose between light or dark.
yeah, like
As well.
'Cause-
Imagine if someone has the ability to control what kind of person you will be, and if Salem got it, then
or like
Right.
it could be
I
like
want to be like-
something as like you summon it and the genie's just like, hey, this is the relic of choice. You get to and like you propose a dilemma or I propose
It's
a
a would you
dilemma and
rather
you have to choose one or the other. Like he says, all right, do you, like for instance, do you want to use me? Yes or no? You say yes. I'm like, cool. All right. How do you want to use me? For good? Yes or no? For evil? Yes or no? Or for something kind of like in the middle? Yes or no? It's going to be something like that, because or something along those lines. Because you can't just say I choose to kill everybody. I doubt it works like
You
that.
have to have the choices first before you decide between them. Yeah.
Yeah.
It could be just like I don't know. Maybe that's too OP, but like having the genie in there, like lay out two alternative paths reality can go into, and
It's
they
like-
seem
Possible,
equally bad.
It's like branching
to
paths
choose.
in the video games. You pick this choice,
Yeah.
go with this option, and then on the second playthrough you pick the other option.
I mean,
it's like that.
I don't know how versed you are with like the Heroes of Olympus series, but there's a scene like that in there where someone sees like 3 doorways and sees images that are, well, bad in every one of them, but she has to decide in which direction she goes. So,
Yep.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they could totally be both choices suck. You just have to pick the one that sucks the least.
Yeah. Like
Or-
the lesser evil.
One of
Yeah.
the worst things that could happen is remove the choice from someone. Like the
Ooh.
freedom of choice.
Ooh.
Yeah,
Make them
like
mindless
if you
for-
if like you wear the crown, you can like remove choice from people, so they have
Like
to
the-
do
Like the
this thing.
D&D
You're basically
spell
a
Crown of Madness.
A
Crown
bit,
Man,
yeah.
exactly.
Or like if you wear the crown, you can't make a choice, or something like that.
Everything is made for you.
But here's the thing:
Following a directed path.
all 4 are brought. That summons the gods. But what if you just bring 2 together and summon them both and let them talk? What happens?
That's a good question.
Like, cause like I feel like if just 2 of them would combine, they would like unlock like a special like unique combo power that combines the elements of both. Or if you bring 3 together, you get like an ultra combo. But the 4 is like
That's summoning the gods because the gods have all the power.
Because I feel like if you have like Jin and Ambrosius talk to each other, I feel like she knowing everything that's past and current, and him being able to create anything, you could like ask Jin to describe the current like status of a place somewhere in great detail, and then have that information get directly translated to Ambrosius, then make a little portal to that place. Or like have Jin recall like a building or a weapon of some kind in as much detail as she can, then have Ambrosius make it. Something like that.
Maybe.
Exactly.
Or they just summon and they just start talking, or they you just summon and they just start talking like it's like they're like siblings or something. It's like, sister, I haven't seen you in so long. How have you been? My last project was a complete and utter fluke. Let me tell you about it.
Just bantering and just gossiping about humans.
They're just like, can you believe these mortals? God, they're so pedestrian.
They're always calling me without having a question. Like, what can I do?
Yeah, it's done. They've done that like 3 times. Getting kind of annoyed.
And Ambrosius is like, yeah, I mean, you have that problem. I have the problem that I'm called so many times in the same day to make this and that and that and nothing less.
Like my favorite thing was when he went over to Penny and then he just snapped and he got the little like magnifying glass that jewelers use to look at diamonds. I'm just like, oh, see, that's cute.
Yeah.
And then of course he's just so excited when they bring up the semantics. He's just like, whoa.
I mean, yeah, he's
just so excited to do his job.
Yeah.
And then he's like, it's time to. Oh, it's just you again. He's just so dejected.
I mean, his personality works with his power and stuff. I mean, we have Jin being like the calm, collected one because she knows everything. And that is
She's
just
got, like,
how
this air
people
of
who know
arrogance.
much is just that's how they are. And he's the creative mind. Like his mind is like, oh, I can do that and that and that and that, and he's like kind of ADHD going on.
Exactly.
And just
So the destruction one probably has the personality of like a nihilist.
just
Probably.
maybe he just
But that's-
doesn't care and is like,
Or he's like an anarchist or a realist. Or he's just like, I just like destroying things. Woo!
maybe
Probably.
we can't
Um,
know.
Yeah, go ahead.
That's fine.
I was just gonna say, because I'm almost 4 hours up on my stream.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah,
we've been
We've been
almost
going
4 hours.
a long
We've been
time.
just
God
talking
damn.
about everything.
Oh yeah,
Not
exactly.
even
And we
open
haven't
volume 8.
go through all of the pages of my
I mean,
things
is there
right here. But
something
there's
like
one,
very important? Yes.
there was one last thing that I want to talk
Okay.
about though. How do you feel about the very last part, wherein Penny died, and the song itself is just
Oh,
rip your
the
heart
song
apart.
Friend.
Hmm.
Exactly.
I
But, like-
mean, okay, here's the thing. That song starts really somber and depressing, and it's only like 3 minutes. By the time minute 30 came around, it immediately turns happy. It's like, hey, don't be sad. I was a real girl for a short time. I met you,
He is a real girl.
and
Hmm.
I'm a real girl now, and don't be sad, be glad. And that's basically the whole point of the song.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, that's nice. It starts off super like sad and depressing,
Yeah,
then turns like,
because it-
hey, happy.
Because the depressing part describes her life before she had a friend. I mean,
Yeah,
it makes
before
sense.
she
It
had a
kind of
friend, and
tells
then
her
she met
story.
Ruby, and then she became the real girl,
Yeah,
and
and then the
then
bridge in the end is kind of showing like how things ended, like humanity comes with sacrifice. So it kind of tells her whole story in a case.
Yeah.
And
For me,
yeah.
oh yeah, go ahead. Go.
Yeah,
Go.
it's just I've since I'm German, of course, I sometimes translate songs, and I translated the whole Volume 1 soundtrack, and then last year I translated only until the end. And this year I've already started translating Friend, so it had enough of an impact to be enough for me to translate it. I'm almost done. I only need like 4 lines.
so yeah, like, isn't Weiss's name German?
Yes, but of course it's pronounced
Why?
differently. Like,
Yeah,
you would pronounce it Weiss
Yeah.
instead. And
I feel
you
like-
wouldn't say Schnee,
yeah, like,
you would say Schnee.
If you're like a German person or you know understand German and you see that name or you hear it, you're like, oh, I get it. It's like
Yeah,
wasn't that like the same thing with like Star Wars where like Darth in another language meant dad? So like when his name was said in the theaters, people in that language like, oh, I get it, dad. Because that's just like the word in their language. And then when it was revealed who he was, they're like, oh, I see. Just like one of those things.
yeah, I mean, for Weiss, it's not too much. It's just, hey, we know who she's based off now. So
Okay, if she
because
is
it means
based
basically,
off that,
you know.
so if she is based off Snow White, when is she gonna eat a poisoned apple?
I don't know. Maybe now, because we have basically a jungle who could be a garden, and that could be an allusion to the Garden of
Ooh.
Eden with
With
the fruit, the forbidden fruit.
With like a snake and a fruit, yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, I can see that.
There is a lot of stuff you can do with that. I mean,
Now there's like a lot of fairy tale things that we haven't gotten, like Where's Our Sleeping Beauty, for instance.
Adam
I don't
and Blake.
No, Sleeping
that's Beauty and
Beauty.
the Beast.
Oh, Sleeping Beauty.
is
Sorry,
different.
that was Beauty.
Yeah.
and the Beast, sorry.
Also, the fact that Beauty and the Beast was like at the in the beginning of Volume 1, you like learn that Blake is the father. Oh, she's Beauty and Beast. But then you learn who Adam is. Like, no,
Adam
she's the
is the
Beauty, he's the
Beast.
Beast. And then in Volume 2, it's like, no, she's the Beast. Yang is the Beauty, and Adam is fucking Gaston. And when I didn't know that until I watched the Sirs and Madams Volume 6 OST reaction, and he said that. I was just like, holy shit, he's right. Because he tried to kill both, and I'm like, oh my god. That just clicked. I was like,
Yeah, the
yeah,
Gaston
that's
part.
so big brain, because it just changes over time.
Yeah, I mean, that's good. But
God.
yeah, there's a few things that I would like to see in the future. Like, there's still so many stories that they could use, so many legends and myths and illusions. Like, there's potential.
There's like a line, like, they haven't really touched on, like, besides Pyrrha, not really touched the whole Greek-Roman thing.
Yeah, not really. There's so much there.
Which, probably good reason, because a lot of it has to do with sex and Zeus fucking things, so.
That's just how Greek myths work.
Well, I mean,
Yeah,
Greeks
it is.
wore fucking drapes everywhere, so, you know.
I mean,
So, yeah,
you could still use like things like the Minotaur or like the whole
Ooh,
Midas turning things into
Minotaur
gold.
Grim. Ooh,
Minotaur would be
Grim.
interesting. Yeah, like you have so many monsters like a Hydra Grim, or like
Cerberus.
oh my gosh. Since I
Cerberus
read
gonna be
since I read Percy Jackson and Heroes of Olympus, I just imagined Cerberus like a big puppy.
a three-headed hound, like with 3 people inside.
Oh yeah, Hound with
Oh,
3 heads.
yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah,
That's awesome.
that would be
That's
great.
gonna be-
Like, there's
was-
just so much potential there. You could just do anything. I mean, just
And then there's like a whole bunch of like Asian based stuff.
yeah.
I can't think of any like obvious ones. Like we could get like a Raiden type character.
What I also want to see is like siren type Grim,
Ooh.
like kind of like the apathy, but in a different sense. Like they also
Instead of
mess with
just,
your
like-
mind, but in a different way.
Yeah, instead of like training your will to go on, and makes you like drawn to them.
Yeah.
Well,
But
Just-
that would mean they'd have to look somewhat like a human person, and I don't think they could pull it off. So they'd have to have like a slightly feminine upper, and then like some sort of like weird snake tail lower.
Well, I mean that the siren thing isn't just based on them being like humans. It's more like their voices. So I could see them also not looking human, but just them having
I
like
feel
alluring
like there's
voices.
ever since the Hound came in, I feel like we have,
We have the
more
potential. Yeah.
potential. Like I could see like a Hound level Grim that is a siren, because the Hound could talk, and if you can talk, you can probably sing. So I feel like if you can have one of the Hound levels do like the whole singing thing, and make it like a trap type deal, I could see that working.
Could be.
But if the Hounds can talk, and you gave it thumbs, could it like use things? Is it smart enough to understand push door open like the Raptors in Jurassic Park? Can it like wield a sword? Like, what are the limitations of Hound level creatures?
I think Salem wants to know the same.
Yeah,
That's
because
why
you
she's
think
experiment.
You think Salem doesn't control what comes out. She can just modify things.
I mean,
Because
maybe that's
she
like,
can't
I mean,
directly,
the hound was a faunus who resembled kind of like a hound type animal,
like a canine of some
similar,
sort.
like a canine. Yeah. So
Exactly.
maybe it's really based on what the person she's working with is. You know.
Exactly that.
Now I'm just thinking. I'm thinking about the faunus. Like, what if like your faunus trait is like a venomous bite? Like if you're a snake, like if you're a snake faunus, can you like just like have little fangs and just like bite people and then kill them?
Oh gosh.
Probably, yeah.
I mean, probably.
But the thing is, a Grim cannot create aura.
No.
So they can't use semblances as well. And
Yep.
the one inside the hound is already dead, to be exact.
Well, it's like borderline. It's like on that weird like it's
Like zombie thing.
it's like
going
it's
on.
like pseudo alive.
yeah, it's being preserved by
Yeah,
the
it's
Grim
like
itself.
more like an
I mean,
undead creature.
And it's clearly been addled because, as we saw, probably the most important fact about the helm that no one talked about is the fact that it left something behind when it died. Its contorted
Yeah.
black fauna skeleton, which means Salem used magic to bend, twist, and stretch that guy's poor anatomy to
Yeah, the
actually
bones.
fit. And then that, like, Grim affected his bones, turning them black, because Grim don't leave nothing.
Yeah.
The fact that that skeleton is still there is monumental.
Mm.
Not only
I've actually
because of
mentioned
what
that
it
in my
is,
reaction back
but like
then.
you take those bones, give it to a scientist, have them run all sorts of tests, you can learn a lot about Grim that way, possibly.
Maybe.
I was like,
Well,
when
it's not
I saw that
since-
hand, I was like, oh, it left something. That's
Yeah.
never happened before.
Yeah, but since Grim never leave anything, and the bones then were probably just part of what the faunus was. So I don't think analyzing them would tell them much about the Grim per se, because
Yeah, but
that
the
is
Grim
part
did
that
something
wasn't
to
Grim.
them because they were black, so there is bound to be something left behind.
Were they
Maybe
were
it's just like
black?
cellular.
Maybe that.
Or maybe. But then that also means that he actively cracked and broke his bones to do whatever he needed to do,
Yeah.
which must hurt.
Oh, that's true.
I mean, he seemed pretty, numb. What?
I mean, when he popped the wings out, he gave it that like roar. So I think he does kind of
It's the-
feel pain.
I don't know.
it's the Grim itself that's
I think that's just more or less like the fauna side that's like feeling
yeah, we
pain. The
would
Grim's
have to-
just like rolling with
We
it.
would have to find out how much exactly is Grim, how much
Like-
is faunus. That would be the most important thing to decide on.
Yeah, like I said earlier, it's like Venom from Marvel. It's just like this parasitic thing. Like the overall like feeling of 9, will it be like pain or will it be like resolution? Because like the overall like emotion, from beginning to end, what do you think the overall emotion's gonna be? I'm thinking
gonna be-
like pain mostly.
no, it's gonna be like a dropping feeling now because we've all.
It's just not gonna be
It
pain.
will
It's
be-
just like a downward slope.
I think it will be
Download.
very like trauma based. Like
Yep.
people dealing with what happened, especially like
Depression,
Jean
yeah.
having had to kill Penny and all that. I think that's gonna be
Oh.
the main topic. People dealing with what happened, coming to terms with it, going through their trauma, and I'm here for it, honestly.
Oh, I just realized Ruby, Blake, and Yang don't know Jean killed Penny. Weiss probably does. So Jean
will-
or Weiss is gonna have to tell the others what he did, and that's
No,
gonna
you
be
don't
bad.
have to. Penny's body will drop. By the way.
Oh, it will. Oh no. Oh.
So yeah, they will.
Then
see
they're gonna
Penny.
they're all gonna
body.
wake up and they're gonna run the beach, find John just holding the body, rocking back and forth. That boy's lost 2 redheads, one that he personally killed.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, that boy.
So,
that
yeah,
boy
that's-
is not doing well.
That's my take. Volume 9 will be lots of dealing with trauma. And
Yeah.
honestly, it has so much potential for character development. I'm all in.
Yeah. I feel like it's
All
gonna be like another
realization of
like
what happened before.
yeah.
It's all gonna be realization, not
Yep.
not necessarily resolution, but all of it is like
Yeah,
trying to
I feel
realize
like
everything that's happened.
the intro to 9 will be a big hint of like, hey, will this be a happy thing? Will this be a negative thing? Will this be like
I mean,
I don't know type deal? Because
It could go the way of the Volume 4 intro. Because
Yeah,
that
but
was
it's
after the
kinda
Fall
like,
Beacon,
here's
and where it's like,
everything,
let's
we
have
tell you
hope.
nothing.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
that's it for me. Do you guys have anything else that you would like to add?
Not really.
Or
Don't really know. We talked about a lot, and I don't even
we
remember
did, like,
everything we
4
talked about.
hours. To everyone who's watching right now, thank you so much for stopping by, saying hi, and also providing your
Yep.
inputs as well. I tried to add as much as your input to whatever we were discussing. But thank you so much.
Yep.
Allie,
Mhm.
for your chat. Do you have anything else to say for your chat?
No, there's honestly, since the stream died a few minutes ago and then came back on and stuff, everything's just kind of being quiet. But but yeah, still, thank you all for watching. I hope we
Thank
didn't
you.
bore you with our chatting and just talking over everything.
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
when this video eventually gets posted, there's gonna be people down in the comments, doing what people down in the comments typically do. Because I have the one that David did from last year, like up in my Google Chrome that I was halfway through watching when this popped up, and that's got like 2,000 views on it. And I'm like, all right, that's not bad, especially after he told me about it in the Discord, because he came into the Discord like on Wednesday night and asked for anyone. I was just like, and Raina and I were just like, I'll do it. We don't have nothing better to do.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there we go. Thank you again to the both of you. Thank you to David of Store Fandom for inviting us
Mhm.
as well. And Everly
Even
unfortunately
though
was not able
she
to
couldn't
come
have
back.
been there for.
Even though she was only
Yeah.
here for like 90 minutes, but it was a good 90 minutes.
Thank you so much as well. But to everyone who's still watching, thank you. Have a good night.
Yep.
Good afternoon and good evening, wherever you are.
Yeah.
Thank you. Bye bye,
Was
guys.
fun
Thank
doing
you.
it.
Thank you.
Yeah. Bye.
Have fun.
Bye
Bye bye.
bye. Oh dearie me.